like a surface of the sun kind of thing, Ken. Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, of course, Chat Show. Sammy, you've got a...
little apple.
You've got an apple.
Yeah, a full. I wanted a half. We don't have those laying around.
You have a full apple as an ottoman.
You know, my lower back's been killing me
Really?
this week.
You have lumbar
I'm
difficulties?
having a little lumbar issues, all right? If you want to call a spade here, yeah.
Oldest Jew
It's
you'll
been a rough
ever
week,
meet.
so I saw the apple box laying around, and I figured, why not get comfortable? It's not like anyone would see it, so thank you for calling attention to it.
May
right
I
off
suggest, for the record?
Yeah.
A year from now,
yeah,
minus a day or two, when it's time to once again atone for your sins, put this on the list.
I don't think this is I think the sin is on your shoulders, sir, for calling me out.
Oh, we are very excited about today's guest, but first some shenanigans. Welcome back. We've had a week since the last show. Sammy, what have you been up to? Baseball playoffs.
Baseball playoffs are very exciting. The Philadelphia Phillies were really beyond all odds.
How much did the bookies lose?
The bookies made millions and hundreds of millions of dollars.
So
it's the gamblers that lost money.
Everyone took Philly.
Yes, everyone had Philly from the get-go,
Well,
including
this
myself.
just proves the old adage for gamblers out there. If you can learn nothing from me, let it be this. I think the phrase is, if you learn one thing from me. If you learn nothing from me, which you're an asshole.
No, I think
No, you're an asshole.
All right.
Okay. Because I offer so much. This is an educational show, not just entertainment.
So much wisdom.
The old adage is, if you can ever find out in a sports betting proposition what America is betting on, that is to say the majority of people have put their money on this person to win, this team to win the Super Bowl, World Series, playoffs, whatever. Go the other way. You will win 80% of the time. Because America is wrong so often that the bookies have a thriving business.
What are you basing this on?
Underdogs.
Here's the problem.
No, there's no problem. What happened in the last couple of Super Bowls and the last couple of World Series? My Giants were supposed to win the fucking World Series. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The whole playoffs, they were, who are these guys?
At what point are you saying bet against everyone else? Because after the Giants moved on to the NLCS, they were the heavy favorite.
Yeah. Well, listen, like I said, it's 80%.
Right.
You can't do it every time. But you just gave me another fantastic example of how the bookies made a fortune.
The bookies did make an
because
absolute
America
fortune.
bet on Philadelphia.
From before the season started, America bet on Philadelphia.
Yes.
The whole world did.
It's amazing how few people in Spain bet on baseball.
Actually, it's shocking how many people in Spain bet on baseball, too.
Yeah.
Shocking. That it's that many. Wait, I do want to tell you one other thing that I did that has nothing to do with baseball.
Please.
Shot an episode of Modern Family.
When does that come on the television?
This very Wednesday.
The date of that is?
The 12th.
12th. October 12th.
October 12th.
Because, you know, a lot of people get this on the iTunes tomorrow. They're not watching us live.
Right, so they'll
Although
see
we
it
had
with enough time.
55,000 people watching us live last week for your Virginia Madsen.
That was very exciting.
That's a nice number.
It's a great number.
For your live internet peeps. But a lot of people are watching around the world, listening, of course, as well, from the iTunes. So, October 12th.
October 12th.
Is it Columbus Day?
Why not? I don't know.
Used to be.
I think it's a Monday, Columbus Day.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be
I think
this Monday.
tomorrow's Columbus.
Yeah, okay.
So congratulations.
Thank you very
You're
much.
going to be on Columbus Day on Wednesday.
No,
Sure. That's not right.
You're confusing people now.
Modern Family.
Modern Family.
And you landed a whale for us, and Ed O'Neill will be a guest, is now booked on the show in November.
You know, I do what I can to help the show.
Yeah.
It's not about me, Kevin.
And you'll always make slightly more on the back end, should that exist, than everyone else on the crew because of it.
Finally. Theoretical money. Best.
Now, I don't know if the people can tell from the camera angle, those people watching at home and large, you're a party of one, Sammy.
She's with us in spirit today.
The camera angle suggests that there's just you.
Just me.
Our very own, our head writer, my lovely better half, the Jamie Foxx, as opposed to Eric Bishop, who fucking changed his name to Jamie Foxx. The Jamie Foxx is in the Walt Disney World, and we kind of told people that she had a special costume made. It's a big Halloween, it's a big dress up, it's a big, huge event, of which I know so very little about. But she went with Cherry and a couple of other friends, and we have a photo of Jamie in her Rapunzel from Tangled
Okay.
costume, and it's pretty remarkable. She had the costume handmade, and the wig as well. Let's throw that photo up. Those of you listening around the world,
Adorable.
you have no idea what you're missing.
This is the show you're going to want to download the video on just for this photo.
Yeah, it really is a picture taken by our very own Josh Negrin during Magic Hour, I'm going to say. I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
He got a little Magic Hour. Nice soft focus in the background. Again, if you're just listening, you really are missing a fantastic photo.
This is Peabody.
So she gathers up the wig and the
Peabody.
costume and packs it gently, and off to Orlando she goes.
What happened
and-
in Orlando, Kevin?
And, she's there for 4 or 5 days, but one day in particular is all about the costume.
Yeah.
The day happened to be Yom Kippur.
The Day of Atonement.
The Day of Atonement. And
The
if you
holiest day of the year.
for Jews. If you needed...
The year of our Lord, 5772.
I keep writing 51.
I know.
57, 51 on the checks. Oldest joke ever. Still works. That joke is 100 years old.
The joke is 5,000 years old.
Yeah, nice. Moses tried to sell that joke first. Anywho, it all came down to the day
Yeah.
in the Walt Disney World. As I mentioned, it was Yom Kippur. And I mentioned that because some say our great Walt Disney, genius beyond belief, was not terribly fond of the Jews.
A lot more than some say that, Kevin.
Or the African Americans.
Anyone who knew him,
I'm just saying
met him for a few minutes,
it's out there.
had business dealings with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, what does he do? What arrangements does I suggest he made for the people at the park?
Oh, we're talking about he with a capital H?
No, I'm talking about Walt Disney's Frozen Head.
Oh, very well.
Yeah. This is what he did for the people who went to his park on Yom Kippur.
Oh, no.
That's Jamie.
Pouring rain.
That's Jamie not in her costume.
Nope.
But rather in a poncho.
Yep.
Supplied by the fine folks at Walt Disney World.
And God said, let there be no joy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. There's your
Yeah.
there's your costume efforts down the tip. Literally down the drain. So we miss her dearly. She'll be back next week, along with our guest Megan Mullally. There, I said it.
Oh, well, our current guest seems very excited about that. I think he
He'll
wants to come back.
He'll come back.
Maybe he'll come back.
He's welcome back anytime. That's the whole thing about once you become a guest.
Right.
You remember. Yeah.
Does that explain me?
It's like the Academy. Yes. That's exactly right.
Have I taken that way too far?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on here?
In fact, it's a little odd that it took 130 shows for me to say,
To point it out.
seriously?
Yeah. I'm Kevin Nealon to your Larry Sanders.
It's enough already.
I'm hanging around
Waiting.
until they fire you. And then I just right in there.
Now, we've asked you, the viewers and the listeners, how do you do KPCS, the Kevin Pollak Chat Show? And we ask you to write to us at contact@kevinpollakschatshow.com. Oh, they're out of order. I should do the Gurin Brothers first. Yeah. No, good point, Kenny. That's the one you have loaded anyways. The Gurin Brothers provide this lovely chapeau of mine, as they do on a weekly basis. Amazing handmade hats. And go to Gurin.com if you want to check out their wares.
How do you spell Gurin?
Pretty
Kevin?
awesome. G-O-O-R-I-N.
Thank you.
Thank you. So someone wrote to us at the contact@kevinpollakshow.com with the following. To whom it may concern at Gurin Brothers. Today I purchased a hat from your fine store in my town of Portland, Oregon. The experience was delightful. The two people that helped me were all that a person could expect and more. I love hats and would buy, misspelled, a new one at least once a month if my wife would let me. About twice a year is all she will stand for. But I thought you should know I would never have found your store were it not for your advertising on Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. One hat is not enough to cover your ad budget, I know, but if one person took the time to write, how many more bought but never thought to? Thanks to you for your great hats, and thanks to Kevin Pollak and his show for letting me know about you. Bill Lambert, Portland, Oregon. That's very sweet.
That's
and very
a little,
nice.
yeah,
And I like that the Gurin Brothers got that. They are not necessarily a sponsor, nor do they spend any money advertising on the show.
Well, in that
They
case...
do, however, provide me with a lovely hat once a month, and I thank them for it on a weekly basis. And here we're selling hats. I love it. I just love it. That's all I'm saying. All right.
I got nothing.
And, yeah, I mean, listen, if you're out there and you've got a hat because I blabber on about it, write them. Join the list of one.
I think the next hat you get from Gorin Brothers is going to have a couple $100 bills tucked into the inside seam, my
Is that
friend.
what you think?
That's what I'm thinking.
I like it.
It better. That's all I'm saying.
We also have a segment on the show that you can join in, those of you listening and watching around the globe, called Ask Kevin. If only there were a graphic.
Ask Kevin.
Look at that. I'm at a desk with chopping teeth. Again, a reason to watch the show. This Ask Kevin, you can write your own at contact@kevinpollexchatshow.com. This one comes to us from Joseph Calhoun. Dear Chat Show, hey, that's me. During the James L. Brooks podcast, you mentioned something about the Whitney show and you not wanting to watch it because of how it was marketed. Yes, I did mention that they crammed it down my fucking throat and it's enough already. I can't subscribe.
Did you know that half of all marriages end in sweatpants? I can't even say it without laughing. It's so funny.
Oh, you're good.
sorry.
You're good. And you know that from the commercials, not from watching the show.
Yeah.
I was wondering what your further thoughts were on proper marketing for shows. In my opinion, most of them are marketed poorly. For example, when Lost was on TV, I never watched it since it never caught me. It never caught me from the TV spots. It never caught me. That's an interesting way to phrase that. It never grabbed him, I think, from the TV ads. I have since watched and was totally consumed. It seems that more often than not, shows that look good from the marketing end up being bad, and the ones that are marketed poorly end up being great. Anyhow, thanks for the podcast. Have a superb day, Joseph Calhoun. Hey, Joseph. Oh, wait. P.S. To Jamie and Sam, I went back and rewatched the episode with Jacques, and Mr. Brooks, as an Albert, does a damn fine job. I still prefer Scorpio, though.
Oh, yes.
It is interesting. I was about to tell him to shut the fuck up already.
Yeah.
And then he went even on further.
Well, now we can both tell them.
Yeah. I don't know how shows should be marketed. It's not my ballywick. I'm talent. I don't pretend to know how to market things. I just know if you shove it down my throat, I will revolt.
Maybe there's almost a feeling in the television world where they look at a show and they go, oh, this is a real piece of crap. We're going to have to market the hell out of it if we want people to watch, since we know word of mouth will be so bad. And then on the flip side, they think, well, this show is brilliant. It doesn't need any help with marketing because people are going to watch and word of mouth will be so good.
Not a bad theory.
Reverse psychology.
Not a bad theory. I think in TV, they cram all the new shows down your throat.
Well, they
like
have
Prime
to.
Suspect, I couldn't get enough commercials of that too. That was just absurd. And I love her. I love the original. I don't know how the show's doing. I hear not terrific.
But at the end of the day, I almost feel like the marketing has very little to do with the success of the show. They marketed the shit out of Playboy.
That's true. They did.
Gone.
Yeah. No. There's no question. Marketing. The way that it's conceived and played out in film and television, I don't know. I think millions of dollars are being wasted. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Tens of
But if they knew what they were doing, ... Thank you for that question. And next time, don't fucking write so much. From Greg.
And also, Joseph, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Sammy.
No problem.
From Greg Melly Jones. Is that a name? Melly Jones? Sure. It's a hyphenated name. Greg hyphenated Melly Jones. How did that happen? How did
Used to be Greg Milli Vanilli.
Thank you, Sammy.
Changed it for the war.
You know what? You can stay for another 130 shows.
Fantastic.
I love watching KPCS on the LIRR. L-I-R-R, all caps. Anybody?
Come on, that's the LIRR, the Long Island Railroad.
During my commute from New York to my home back in Long Beach.
There you go.
Look at you, Sammy. Kevin, listening to you, Sam, and Jamie are the only way I want to spend my sometimes soul-crushing commute to a job I'll probably have until the day I die. Hey, it pays the bills, and I get to live by the ocean. Kevin, I'm sure you won't remember this, but it was a huge moment for me. Back in 1993, I think it was 93, I worked in a video store in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in a neighborhood called Loring Park, while going to the University of Minnesota. You came in the store to rent videos. I'm pretty sure you were there in town filming Grumpy Old Men. I recognized you by way of saying something like, hey, I know you from somewhere. You gave me your credit card to rent the videos. I read your name and went into your Albert Brooks as Batman routine. You were really gracious, and I geeked out upon meeting you. A few years later, I moved back to New York with a production job on the TV show New York Undercover. I spent a few years working behind the scenes as a PA on several shows, including a season on LA Law. Eventually, I dropped out of that world and moved to the less exciting but financially more rewarding opportunities.
Can't remember a time you weren't reading this.
I'm already asleep. I'm starting tomorrow. However, the years I spent in production were an incredible experience, and I don't think I would have done it if it wasn't for meeting you. Oh, now I see why they included all this. Sorry, everybody. So thanks for being cool to a guy working in a video store in the early 90s and unknowingly giving me that extra push to take a chance at a lifelong dream from Sean. Oh, that wasn't for Sean. That was up for previous guy. Hey, I do remember you, and I'll tell you why. You were kind enough not to make a big deal that I was running porn.
Remember the old days when you had to rent porn?
Not buffering, masturbating.
Remember the old days? When you had to get porn the hard way?
Not only that, how about being on location, out of town, go into a store, hat, sunglasses, just want to rent some
the
porn,
raincoats.
and the guy recognizes me. And I can't rent porn from a guy who recognizes. Well, sure I can.
Of course you
It'll
can.
be a story for him, and he was kind enough not to put it in the note. I thought I'd bust myself. Also because Jamie wasn't here.
She does
And there's
own a
no
computer,
chance
right?
she'll watch this.
No,
show.
you're right.
No, she's never seen any of them.
Of course not.
Yeah. Although her mom might be watching. Fuck. Julia Kay? I'm sorry. This last, is this the last one from Sean Billou? Another 47 minutes, we'll get to our guest. Dear Kevin, I have watched all of the episodes of the chat show on iTunes on my computer. Although I have just recently purchased an iPad, so I may start watching on here. I have never listened to the audio version because I feel that you guys take the time and effort to film the damn thing every week, so why wouldn't I watch them? Plus, you have spent years perfecting your impressions, not only vocally, but visually, too. Wow, it's really a celebration of me today. It's a little obnoxious. I listen to plenty of other audio-only podcasts in my car, so yours is a treat when I watch it. Keep up the greatness, Sean Billou. Sean Billou. Not known for his taste, I'm guessing, as a rule, to his friends. Like when he suggests things, have you seen this movie? I go, you don't know what the fuck you're... All right. Thank you, Sean Billou.
I'm sorry.
We have a winner for today's Larry King game. Colin, if you're watching or listening, write to us again at contact@kevinpollackchatshow.com and tell us your damn shirt size, you son of a bitch, because you didn't include it in your email. But here's your award-winning, and by that I mean a T-shirt, Larry King game submission. People keep making lame jokes about my suspenders holding up my balls. I assure you the only thing holding up my balls is your mother's mouth. Fuck yourself.
There's no way that's real.
Fuck yourself a why, go. As in you're on. We did a little research. Fuck yourself a why is not a place.
Not a place.
But it was still made me laugh. Larry King being that caustic. That makes me laugh. I also want to mention support of a book. It's called Lost in Las Vegas. This coming week, it'll be in the front window of every Barnes & Noble in the United States of America. First-time author, novelist, got distribution from Simon & Schuster, and front window display in every Barnes & Noble in the country as a first-time author is unheard of. Avery Cardoza is his name, and this is a great book, Lost in Las Vegas. If you remember Scorsese's After Hours, the movie, it's kind of like that, but set in Las Vegas and crazy funny instead of just dark. And I have not recommended a book on the show, really, and I thought I would. All right, maybe because I optioned it to turn it into a movie. That's not the point.
You son of a bitch.
I can't.
You had me going.
I couldn't commit
You could not.
to the lie.
You know, because
It's a great book.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, I'm very excited about bringing
read the script.
bringing it to the motion pictures. Lost in Las Vegas. Get yourself a goddamn copy, you sons of bitches. Again, first-time author. You want to support that. Born in Minnesota. We were talking about Minnesota. Raised in Washington, my guest. Yeah,
Washington State.
Washington State. Yeah,
All right.
not the nation's capital. That phony Washington.
No.
That phony place. I somehow missed the Everwood and the OC. I'm not sure either were
Are you
designed.
a 16-year-old girl?
I'm not sure either were designed for my demographic.
Okay.
I did work with Treat Williams once.
Oh.
And I can't wait to talk to my guest about his experience.
Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins?
And no, we're not going to mention what we worked together on.
That's a pretty good pull.
So I became aware of my guest today, like so many people in the United States and around the world, in a little show we called Parks and Recreation. And from its freshman year to its sophomore year, such amazing growth for his character and the show's success. And I'm thrilled beyond belief. I believe this was a Twitter grab.
Oh.
In terms of nailing a guess. Let's get to the bottom of it, shall we? Chris Pratt, hello.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Very much. And also loved the hell out of you in the Moneyball last week. I saw that. We'll talk about that further in. Am I remembering correctly? This was like a Twitter grab?
Yeah. I think, it was someone said, hey,
someone
Pratt, you
yelled
should
at you
go on
right.
Kevin Pollak's show. And then you said, you should. And then I was like,
all right.
I wrote, fuck yeah, you were the usual suspects. and then you wrote, and then we started,
Right. We started DMing.
direct messaging, and that's obviously very private what we wrote in our direct
as it
messages.
should be.
Yeah.
It should be very, very private.
Just know that it was really good stuff.
Yeah, well, please. Needless to say.
Yeah.
So, getting away from it's all about me, as much as I'm glad you enjoyed The Usual Suspects, there's no reason to go into detail or what have you.
Okay.
Please.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you secretly inviting me to go into detail?
No.
Okay.
How old were you, and were you stoned when you saw it the first time?
I don't know, and yes.
He was 17. He was 17 years old the first time he saw Usual Suspects.
Yeah, I think I was.
That's in his record?
I'm just guessing based on his age.
I was
when the
wondering if
movie
it was
came
in
out.
Hawaii, because...
No, I wasn't stoned because I don't. Well, what year did it? I saw it when it came out. What year did it?
95.
95. Yeah, I was. I wasn't in Hawaii yet, and I certainly wasn't stoned yet. Because I was like a kid still.
Yeah, you were too young. Shortly before... So, did you see it when it first came out? No, you saw it later on.
No, I did. I saw it when it first came out, and I saw it
In 95, you were a kid.
No, I wasn't a kid. I mean, I was like 16 or something. So I saw it then. My brother and I saw it together, and then I've seen it subsequently.
You and your
several
brother,
times since.
your older brother.
Yeah, my older brother.
Yeah, he snuck you in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could get me in.
Yeah.
Because he could buy the tickets.
It's funny. The movie. God, I gotta stop. The movie only made $22 million domestically because it would only open on 300 screens and eventually only went to 800 screens. It was.
Oh, really?
It was talk about a botched marketing campaign. So it's so few people actually saw it in the theater.
Oh, really?
That's why yeah, honestly, weird. Sammy,
Yeah, buddy.
you missed it in the theater. Never mind.
I don't know that I did. I think I might have seen it in the theater.
Did you throw the shot put or discus in high school?
I ran the hurdles.
The hurdles, as they're called among their peeps.
Yeah.
Which hurdles?
The ones made out of metal and plastic.
What
that
was,
hurt.
what was the distance?
I don't know, 30, 40 feet each. I could jump very high.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
Shot put and discus thrower. I have not met one.
Never?
Nope.
Nope. Now you have.
A friend of mine was a pole vaulter in school,
Yeah, that's tough.
and most guys you meet in track are runners.
Right.
So how is it that they yanked you from whatever the hell you were doing and said, you should throw a disc? Have you
Well-
ever thought about throwing a disc?
I had done it I had done it in middle school, and it was our spring sport. Baseball was the same time, and baseball was my fourth sport. I was a wrestler and a football player, and then in after our wrestling season, which was always really grueling, the spring sport would come around, and I just didn't want to. I wanted to stop running for a little bit, you know what I mean, and hang out with the football coach. Ken Collins was the shot put coach, so we just kind of bullshit and hang out and throw this chunk of metal.
Right.
So
It's always a fascinating sport during the Olympics. I mean,
Yeah.
Certainly the first time that I became aware of it as a kid
yeah.
was seeing these strapped in, mind-bogglingly gifted discus throwers.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it and you go, well, what is this? How hard could this be? And then if you ever try it, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Did you take to it right away? Or?
Actually, I was primarily a shot put thrower. That was what I did and competed in and had the most success doing. The way that it worked out at the end of my senior year, we just didn't have that many discus throwers, and so each school has to bring two guys to the district tournament, and they said, "Hey, Pratt, will you just throw discus just because we need another guy?" And I ended up like qualifying for the next tournament, and it was like the first. I'd never really practiced it or anything like that, so it was really more. I was really more of a shot put guy.
Right.
And
the shot put, those of you not familiar, I have to wonder if they called it the shot put. Do you know the origin? My theory is this. Mm-hmm. They call it the shot put to avoid having to say spear chucker.
Wait a minute. I think you're confusing that with javelin.
Oh, that's right. That's the javelin. The shot put is this thing.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the heavy metal ball.
Right. This thing.
Well, for all the lengths they took to avoid anyone saying,
I managed to come up with it. Yeah. The javelin.
Sorry, guys.
The javelin was named.
You went the long way around there.
I did a little javelin too, though. But,
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you're probably saying that just to try to save me.
Yeah.
It's quite all right.
No, I chucked spear as well.
Right.
Yeah, I did that as well. Just all the throws, the field portion.
Yeah.
We just run 2 laps a day. It was kind of to take a break. It was a nice respite from a real 2 grueling sports seasons preceding,
Yeah.
football and then wrestling.
But I imagine, I guess what got me off on that was, why the hell are they calling shot put
Shot put?
like that ridiculous name? And then the javelin, I guess this dates back to the original Olympics.
Right. Well, Phil Javelin came up with the idea.
Yeah.
And,
And then sold the concession.
And William Shotput. He sold the first ones.
William shot put.
So they gave it. They
Bill.
gave it to him.
I
Bill
mean,
shot.
isn't
Billy.
shot put is the most remedial, literal description of what you're doing with that, because shot, like shot from a shot shell, is like
Yeah.
is lead.
And then where you put it?
And you're putting it somewhere. It's like, watch, I'm going to do a cut put.
There it is.
Nice.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Nailed the cut put.
That was awesome.
And it's got to be pretty old.
Yeah. Your days in wrestling. I wrestled in the middle school. I'm so old it was called junior high. But I wrestled to a trophy.
Nice.
Well, I was 85 pounds.
There you go.
So, these are small kids.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're wrestling another kid who's 85 pounds.
And he was maybe at least a foot taller than me. He was a rail, and I was a little stocky kid.
Yeah.
And frightened for my life, because he had moves like a praying mantis blowing my mind. Within seconds, I thought, he's going to turn me into a pretzel. This is going to be really ugly.
Right.
And then I remember just thinking, hey, clearly you have to pin him, because you're not going to win on points.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm bulkier at 85 pounds, because I was 3'11". Well, let's be clear.
You had girth.
But I brought it because of the making weight.
Yeah.
And I wonder if was your first experience of severe weight loss regimen,
Yeah.
which later perhaps served you as an actor.
Absolutely served me definitely. Wrestling is a huge part of who I am as a person. I grew up in a town that's really known for its wrestling. It's kind of like Midland, Texas is to high school football. High school football.
Yeah.
This town, Lake Stevens, is to wrestling.
Like Stevens, Washington.
Lake Stevens, Washington, right?
Where's that located geographically?
About 30 miles north of Seattle, just
Oh.
a few miles inland from the Puget Sound.
North of Seattle.
North of Seattle. Yeah.
Could you shake hands with any people from Canada? Could you just reach
like
over
from
the
my
border?
house?
Yeah.
We didn't live quite. We weren't within.
Could you?
Literal arms. Yeah, but we were pretty close.
You're
I mean,
pretty close there.
it's about maybe an hour.
An hour?
To,
So you couldn't throw
or
the
an hour to Vancouver.
You couldn't throw the discus
I
to
could.
Canada.
I could. Most people could.
He's really good at discus throwing.
The javelin.
And the
Easily.
javelin.
So this was a wrestling town.
Yeah, wrestling town. So we grew up and kids wrestled. I mean, it was 7,000 people in my town when I graduated in high. So it was a small town, but that's what kids did there. They just went to they wrestled. In fact, I did a docu-style filmed their last season, and it's going to be premiering on November 3rd for as an MTV True Life on MTV.
That's fantastic.
We followed them through the whole season.
What's the name of the documentary?
It's called Berserker, and then we've got an actual hour-and-a-half doc that we're trying to pitch around.
Shop around.
Yeah.
It airs on MTV November
3rd, I believe.
and then into rotation. So look for.
I probably shouldn't even. Yeah, who gives a shit? I don't think I'm supposed to say that yet.
Why?
It's too late now.
It's October.
It is October. I think it's the 3rd. I could be wrong, and then I'd be in trouble.
Well, let people look it up.
Look it up. Look up Berserker, MTV.
Yeah,
True Life.
if this sort of thing interests you, then definitely people will track it down.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. But yeah, that was something I learned how to do, and I cut weight really a lot my junior year in high school. I was about 200 pounds, and I cut down to 178, and so that was a pretty substantial cut. I only did it for half the year, and it really affected my schoolwork and my grades, and I got
Because you would pass out in the middle of class?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would. You're just mentally drained and physically drained, you know. So I stopped doing it, and I went back up to 190 instead of. I cut down still a little bit to 190, but that was to my brother cut to 148 his senior year.
And he's big like you?
Yeah, he's big. He walks around probably 220 now. He's probably should have been about 180 pounds, but he'd cut down to 148.
Holy fuck. Yeah, I should point out I cut from 98 down to 85.
Did you?
Yeah.
But isn't that nice about weight classes? Because I mean, what other sport can you don't just tell a kid who's 95 pounds to throw on some shoulder pads and go out on the field and compete with, it's like the has the weight classes. It's the
Absolutely.
great equalizer, It's
You're
like
100% right.
It's pound for pound. You're fighting against a guy who's the same size as you.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
that's an excellent point, because it was the first time I was involved in organized sports on that kind of level.
Yeah.
Where there were championship meets and trophies handed out, and it's and that sort of discipline as a youngster can be incredibly helpful later in life, or you just rebel against it and say, fuck everybody, I'm never going to do this again.
Right. Yeah. I think that's. Yeah. It can kind of. It's one of those things where someone could say, "Oh, I don't touch alcohol. My dad was an alcoholic," or they say,
Right.
"I drink every day, man. My dad was an alcoholic."
I got it in me.
So it's like
I got to give it up.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jamie? Nope, she's not here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. So wrestling that was part of it. So when I auditioned for Moneyball, they were like, "Oh, you were good. You can. I mean, you know what it's like. You go out, you audition for things, and you're like, that felt good.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you're just too fat. It's like, oh,
I found that interesting from
sucks.
the dossier that our very own J-Mac put together, that the audition went phenomenal, that they loved you. And the feedback was, we love him, he's just too fat.
Yeah.
And as opposed to, we love him, would he mind dropping X amount of pounds? Because if he will, we'll hire him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Why aren't they ever that clean with this kind of... Because it was so much later, and you did you literally take it upon yourself?
Yeah, I lost all the weight on spec.
On spec?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
not all of it. About 30 pounds of it I lost on because
30 pounds in like 3 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is just brutal.
Yeah. It might have been shorter than that. It might have been 2.5 months, and then about another.
And were you filming Parks and Rec at the time?
I was, yeah.
So you're passing out of work.
No, I mean, it wasn't. I had the weight to lose. You know, just in terms of
the amount of beer you'd consume.
Yeah,
prior?
I was drinking a lot of beer and a lot of just eating anything I want. It's funny. You can take that third season of Parks and Recreation. It was strange how we got started. We did the first 6 episodes for the third season. We did at the tail end of the second season because of Amy Poehler's pregnancy.
Right.
So we had this. Our schedule was so weird. Luckily, it allowed me to do Moneyball. But so during those 6 episodes, I started losing the weight. So that was like the first 6 weeks. That was like the 6 weeks. The first 6 weeks of the 3 months of me losing the weight.
Now that's
so
the
you can watch
season
those 6 episodes, the first 6 episodes of season 3.
That just started this fall?
No, this is season 4 that just started.
Okay.
So season 3, the first 6 episodes, I'm losing weight, and I probably lose maybe 15 or 20 pounds through the course of those 6 episodes.
And then when you pick up
when I come back, I'm skinnier than I was. But then I slowly gain back almost 50 pounds.
You're
for the next movie.
For the next role.
You're a regular Judy Garland.
Yeah. For the next movie, 10 year, which you literally gained.
Yeah, it was the biggest I'd ever been.
50 pounds.
Yeah, 50 pounds.
When this season started, season 4,
Yeah.
which I'm enjoying, you were much bigger than you are now.
Yeah, bigger than I was now. Yeah, but I was like on the rebound from
10 year.
from the 10-year movie. Yeah.
You were in the process of losing that 50 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so.
Yeah.
So De Niro's like a pussy to you, with his raging bull.
Oh, yeah, he always was before. Even before that. No,
Yeah.
what? No. And I am gonna. There's. You'll never. I'm not gonna. I couldn't. I'm not gonna. You know.
No. Listen,
It's yeah.
everyone in the world knows the ridiculous nature of losing weight. We all know how fun it is to gain weight.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear an actor say he gained 60 pounds for a movie, I thought, really?
Nice.
Was that hard for you? Yeah. How many Guinness a day did you have? More cake. Pie. Can I have a slice of pie and a glass of pie? It's the losing the weight that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Anywho, so during the 2.5 months, according to the dossier, your wife, wildly talented, adorable Anna Faris, is away, and you are swinging, or is that after you get the job that you're swinging the bat?
After I got the job.
After you got the job.
Yeah. Part of the job. Well, and actually before too. Part of the job.
You had to become a left-hander.
I had to become a left-hander. Right. Yeah, and the way they did this with the movie, which is really neat. They really, and for being a baseball movie, there's not a whole ton of baseball in the movie.
Very little.
It's sort of about it's about Billy Beane and behind the scenes and sort of what goes into managing a team like that or being the general manager of a team like that. But for the baseball that's in there, they're really authentic to the sport, and the way they accomplish that is
even the camera angles. It feels like you're watching a game on TV.
Oh, and I mean, these players, every player except for myself is an ex-pro, ex-professional level, major, minor league, a farm league.
The guy playing
college
David
guys.
Justice was pretty good.
Yeah, the guy playing David Justice played with David Justice and played for the Braves for the minor leagues, but
Right.
played for Atlanta. And I mean, Stephen Bishop, great guy, huge help in putting my swing together. But the way they put, other than the two of us, because he's an actor but also had a background in baseball.
Right.
The way they cast everyone else is just straight off baseball ability and likeness to the characters that they were trying to cast.
Yeah, I read that you went to some big sort of casting call
It was like a tryout. It was
where
like a baseball
everyone
tryout.
is there for baseball.
Yeah, and they're all ex-pros.
And you got thrown in with this.
Yeah.
That didn't seem fair.
left-handed. I whiffed my ass off.
Yeah.
But they wanted me to be able to do it because the acting part I had, and then they knew they were requiring an actor to play the character.
Had you started working yet with, I want to get his name right, the guy, the former USC?
Chad Kruder.
Yeah.
No, I met him that day.
Okay.
And he and a guy named Mike Fisher
Right.
said to me, it was basically their call. They were looking at my swing. I was left-handed. They said, well, you tell you what, just swing the bat right-handed. Let's just see your athletic ability swinging the bat right-handed. I did that. Brought it back to left. He gave me a couple pointers.
They watched you swing right hand and they went, let's stick with the left.
Yeah. Well, I think they were just trying to see if they had enough time. They did have time to work with me, and they were just trying to see if they think they could work with me, and they did, and they kind of decided on that day. But then, still didn't give me the part because it was still a weight thing, and so I just
Again, on spec.
kept going.
You were out there 6 days a week working with.
No. By the time I got the role, I started working.
That's
with
when you
Kruger.
started that.
Yeah, I went. I was visiting with Anna. She was shooting What's Your Number in Boston, and I was out there, and we were. I was just working out all day. She'd be at work. I was just losing all this weight, and then finally I had to take photos and send them to my agent. So it's somewhere in my email chain. There's a photo that's like, how's this?
How's this fucker?
Yeah, how's this fucker? This making you uncomfortable? Your client in his underwear? And then, like that day, they were like, okay, you got the role.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Felt good, man.
Well, you worked your ass off for it, and you went out and you were proactive. And to me, that was the big part of the story that I found engrossing and also sort of enlightening. I don't think I've tried to give a few examples on this show of what it means to go get something, and if passing off a mantra of mine, which is if you're not creating, you're waiting.
Yeah.
And for actors, especially, you're waiting for the phone to ring.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can be proactive and create things.
Yeah.
try to option material that might be right for you, so on and so forth.
Right. No, you're just right.
So the idea that you lost the weight on spec, you started to work on a swing on the spec.
Yeah.
You were brought in obviously after the Soderbergh version went away.
Yes.
And when you come into this, Bennett is involved as director.
Yes.
So you have to go in, I understand, and read with Brad.
Yes.
I want to hear a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, about that.
That was...
Because that can be intimidating. I mean, you've been around the business long enough at that point that you've had your star moments. And
Yeah, you definitely go into something like that knowing that the majority of people who are going to be put in that same situation on that day, whether it's 10 guys reading for the role or 3 guys or whatever, they're going to be nervous. And so it's my instinct to always play against that. It's just like, don't be nervous, because this guy, you're going to be working with him every day. Just show that you can sit around and like a normal guy, And so I was trying to not be nervous, but of course it was bubbling up, and it definitely, like, I was in their office, and we were at Sony, and so we sit down and we're doing this scene where Billy Bean comes into Scott Hatterberg's house and tries to recruit him for the team that night.
great scene in the movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's the scene we're auditioning with, and so we're sitting there, and Bennett's very thoughtful, very, very thoughtful. He puts so much thought into every sentence. It doesn't say a whole lot, but he's like, I can't help but feel like you're. Oh wait, he's sitting back. He has his feet up on his desk.
Of course.
He says, I can't help but feel like this isn't your house, that you're not owning this scene enough. It feels to me like you're sitting down next to Brad Pitt rather than him being in your house. And I said, well, you can start by taking your fucking feet off my desk.
No, you didn't. Yeah. No, you fucking didn't. Yeah. No. That's the way you get a play.
That's the way, right? That's the story we hear again and again is people take the initiative.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
Without hesitation.
Yeah. Well, you can start by taking your feet off my fucking desk.
And did he laugh?
Yeah, he was like, oh, and then we ended up going to the door, and I invited them in and kind of just did the same scene over and over. It's the same scene over again.
Sure.
But I think it was.
But there's a chance that you were trying to cover up your excitement about being there with Brad so much that you might have come off.
Yeah, little
faux relaxed.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was. Yeah, I think so.
And also, it's important in that situation for the director to give you some direction and make adjustment. I mean,
yeah,
that's how you get the part also.
That's right. Yeah, that's so much of it. They'll just give you a direction, even if just to see how you take it and see if you have the ability to do it differently each time, or if you're just kind of doing it at the same time, every time.
Your early work though was well. First of all, so we might as well stay in the Moneyball world for a little bit. So you read with Brad. He comes off, I'm sure, as ridiculously gregarious and cool.
Yeah.
Because that's Sammy's recollection.
Yeah, I think I could take this one.
Sammy's was one of the Glorious Bastards. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, was that right?
He was one of the Jews.
Nice, dude.
One of the Jews. And I didn't get to read with Brad or anything.
No.
I met him overseas in Berlin for the table read. And that was one of the weirdest moments in my life because we're all on the soundstage waiting for Brad to show up so we can start rehearsing.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to run and take a quick piss. And as I'm walking through the door of the soundstage, Brad comes walking in. And so I awkwardly meet him in this doorway. And the first thing he looks at me and goes, oh, I know you. I'm like, oh. And you are...
Nice. And,
Nice.
It was
Because
T-ball.
why not?
It was T-ball. You had to take the swing.
I had to.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to take a piss. I'll see you in a minute. And I was like, did I really just say that to Brad?
Yeah, because he's walking away thinking, I just gave the guy a little shout out, and he pissed in my face.
Pissed in my face.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's the fucking coolest guy in the world. Is that an arguable statement?
I think that's not hyperbole. I think he really might be
Yeah.
really real.
the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, he's just. I was a fan. I was a huge fan of his before I even knew I would
Yeah,
live the dream of being an actor.
He's been challenged the way that Newman and Redford were, which is you can't be that pretty and also talented. And when you're able to work through that and show what you're made of, it's even more remarkable, which makes real fans of those of us who, I agree with you, he's extraordinary. And apparently hates pot. Let me...
Has never touched a bottle of wine in his life.
No.
Yeah, that's true. That's a true
Won't
fact.
do either.
Yeah.
The swinging the bat, I fucking loved. I'm thinking, how is this not the greatest job? You're out there every day just swinging the bat.
Oh, man.
Like I was saying, when Anna was out of town or whatever, you were, according to the dossier, in the backyard,
All the time.
like
People over.
8 hours
Yeah.
or something. A crazy amount of, I'm just going to swing the bat all fucking day.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think it's like,
Well, you had the time.
I had the time. When I get, you know,
Also, from wrestling, I think it's pretty possible that it was ingrained in you to excel at a very young age in a solo endeavor. That's the thing. It's not a team sport, wrestling. I mean, you're on the wrestling team.
Right.
But it's one-on-one.
yeah.
And when it's put on your shoulders, I feel,
Yeah.
it gives an instinct about, well, I'm going to crush this. I'm
Yeah.
not going to take it lightly.
And yeah, and it's a wooden bat. So it's a professional bat that they have me swinging. I mean, I'm getting the best cut of wood. This is the stuff that only the pros get to hit the balls with. You know, you can't just go buy it at Big Five.
Maple?
It's I think it is. It is.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
Pros swing maple now, so although they didn't in 2002, so
Canadian
know.
maple?
yes. Sorry, didn't mean to.
I think that it is. It's
Yeah, probably maple.
but you can hold it and hit it, and there's a tone that comes off of it, and with the mechanics that they taught me, I got substantially better at swinging a baseball bat. So it felt really good to do it. It wasn't like, oh God, I got to go swing the bat 1,000 times. This is gonna suck. It's like I'm just gonna keep swinging this all night. Talk amongst yourselves. Just don't get too close. You're gonna get fucking hit, man. This is all I'm thinking about for the next 6 months. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
How'd the blisters feel?
Oh God, it was about 3 weeks in that Chad Kruder told me, "Hey man, you got to take your wedding ring off."
3 weeks.
Because I had it underneath my glove, and I think I still have a pretty good sized callus
you
there
do.
from
You do, actually.
from the ring. It was just a big blood blister. And he goes, no. He goes, don't worry, Mama's not gonna mind. You just take the ring off for a little
That
bit.
sounds like an old baller. Mama's not going to mind. No, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then the filming of it, where was it shot?
It was shot primarily in Oakland at the Coliseum, and then also on the Sony lot here in LA. They built the interior offices and
When
the
they come to
interior
visit
clubhouse.
you, when they come to visit you, the scene you auditioned with,
Yeah, where was
is that actually somebody's house? I imagine it was.
Yeah, it was somebody's house. I can't
Right.
remember where the hell we were. I think it was. I can't remember if we were in California or if we were Southern or Northern California.
Let's start with when you read Aaron Sorkin's script the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of buried the lead. You talk about greatness. He had just come off the Academy Award of Social Network.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Everyone's wondering what the fuck he's going to do next.
Yeah.
And you've got the script in your hands.
Yeah.
And it's a script I'm sure is under lock and key during the auditioning process.
Yeah. I had to come into the casting office and check out a copy of the script, read it in the office,
Right.
and then give it back, and then come back the next day to audition.
And your sense at that point is
That was it. That was, I mean, as great as it is that this is a big studio movie, that it's a baseball movie, Brad Pitt's in it, Phil Hoffman's in it. The thing that pushed me to that point of being so driven to get this thing was the script. Reading it, look, I have goosebumps, brother.
Yeah.
You can tell. They're all over my arms right now. Just reading the script and the way he pulled so much heart out of a book that's sort of about statistics and the character of Scott Hatterberg and sort of how he fits into this movie that is trying to, is like a character piece masked as a sports movie. So it has structurally, it has those moments. It has that winning climactic sports moment because of their 20 game streak. But they don't win the World Series in 2002. It's not a big spoiler alert. It's based on reality. They didn't win the World Series that year. But so to make the structure of a sports movie but fit into a character piece with so much heart, and the role of Scott Hatterberg, while I was reading it, I was like, I gotta get this. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I'm too fat to get this. Oh, I gotta get this. Fuck, I gotta get this.
Did it dawn on you that I'm going to have to get in crazy shape for this, and I wonder if they're going to look past it?
Yeah, but yeah, it did.
In other words, when you got the call from your agent saying
I wasn't
they loved you,
surprised.
but you were too big, you weren't surprised.
I wasn't too surprised. Yeah, I mean, I was like, Parks and Rec is great because
Craft service.
craft service.
And also the character, Andy.
Yeah, I remember watching. I gained a bunch of weight in the second season, and I remember watching. I remember the day. I was like, "Oh shit, Chris, that's boy, you're getting a little heavy there." I was watching it on TV, and it was, it got the biggest laughs, and I was like, have I found a job where I'm allowed to be kind of just let myself go? I don't have to shave, get fat as I want, be all sweaty, and it just adds to the comedy? Oh my God, this is amazing.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. So that was a pretty cool, and from that moment forward, I think Offerman and I both we're just like show up at work and that would be like 2 ham sandwiches. I love it.
He's pretty amazing, the Offerman. We've had him in that chair, and boy, oh boy, a man's man, and just fucking hilarious without even trying.
Oh man,
you don't see him coming.
No,
that's the thing about his humor. You do not see him coming.
No, you're just right.
Yeah,
and he is.
You're just too focused on the mustache, and you're thinking. He's got a prop on his face.
Yeah. That's no. It's he's a really special guy, not just for all the obvious reasons of how talented he is and what he brings to the show, but just what. And I don't mean to sound trite, but just what a great man he is.
Right.
He's.
Well, you set by
so
example.
Devoted to his wife.
Right. Oh yeah.
He is so patient, works so hard. Always perfectly off book. Has a handful of alts at the ready. He's just hungry. He's hungry to.
Yeah. Well, it's a big swing at the plate for him.
Yeah.
Also, this is a huge coming out party for him.
Yeah.
As it is for you, comedically.
Yeah.
I mentioned the previous dramas that you did, and those were both long-running hits, and allowed you to establish a foothold in melodramatic television.
Right.
Which is a huge audience, and all of the perks that come with it. But if there's a part of you, according to your dossier, you did stand-up comedy for a couple of minutes. If there's a part of you that knows you have great comedy chops, that kind of work is just, you're waiting.
Yeah.
You're waiting.
Yeah, I was always doing, like on Everwood and on the OC. Everwood I did for 4 years. OC I did in their last season, so I did 1 year as like a special guest star. But in that 4 years, I ended up sort of kind of on Everwood becoming a bit of the comedic, the comic relief or
on the show.
On the show, it was kind of what started playing, written it to be played more for laughs.
They realized you had a strength.
Yeah, I think that was it, and it was sort of like the beginning of my improv days, and we were shooting that on film, so they weren't really excited about me just going off book for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? It's not like it is now with digital cameras. They're rolling real film in those cameras, and so they really wanted everything close on book. But every once in a while, I would sneak one in, and then I'd see that it would make the episode. So I started doing that more and more. And I think the great thing with especially Everwood is 4 years. Incredible actors on the show. It was critically acclaimed for a show that was on the WB, and at the time, the WB's not around anymore, but at the time, nothing on the WB was critical acclaim. It was
Absolutely.
It was all kind of like people
it was
considered
a critic
it garbage,
darling, for sure.
And the critics really liked it, and I worked with people who took their job really seriously, and for me, that 4 years was equivalent to 4 years at a trade school or something. It's like you learn everything. You learn about the lights, you learn about the camera, standing on the mark, being on time, learning your lines.
Master's degree.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. It was like getting a degree in.
You were pretty young at the time, also.
Yeah, I think I was 22 maybe when I started.
Unbelievably young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 22 to 26, I think.
You mentioned the guest star thing on the OC. It's not known, I don't think, by many that you started on Parks and Rec as a guest star.
Yeah.
Supposed to just be like a 6-show arc or something?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, the character was supposed to be the reason that Ann Perkins gets invited into and discovers this world of Parks and Recreation.
Right.
And so he was just sort of a one-off, written as the douchey band guy that gets cut out at the end.
Yeah, the character was much more of a dick at first.
Yeah, it was written, and I think that it became more like it is today over time, and it was written as a dick, and I played it that way, but I also played it other ways as well. It was just that was the stuff that they edited. I mean, for
It still came off as a clueless dick, which is much better than a douche dick.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Hopefully it's
funny.
endearing
if he's a clueless dick. And he was absolutely clueless from the first word.
Yeah.
Which almost forgives every dickish thing he does, which is a tribute to the writing and your acting. Seriously. The way it was executed was immediately endearing as a character. Even though you couldn't believe, oh, God, Andy. Oh, Andy. You know, it was that kind of thing. As opposed to, you fuckhead, you know.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? I mean, it was, I guess it was, they kind of did everything they could to have the character be gone, and then it just didn't. And then halfway through those first 6 episodes, you know, we were definitely getting the tone of the show and feeling what, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Those 6 episodes were really like our pilot, because we didn't have a pilot and then go away and then come back after months and months. You know, we just shot 6 weeks in a row. So it was like we shot one pilot that was 6 episodes long, you know what I mean?
Right.
And through the course of that, they started kind of disassembling and reassembling who the characters were based on sort of what they're finding in people on the day when they're working, you know?
Yeah.
And,
and they'll see where the strength is. Yeah. And then the question was, listen, if I love this quote, if we get picked up, there's a chance you would come back as a regular.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing minefield. You talk about the hurdles that a young Sam Levine had to get over.
Sorry?
The minefield, first of all, getting a right time slot, it's like winning the lottery.
It's not winning the lottery. It's winning the lottery 5 times in a row.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, the odds are just against every single show that succeeds. Regardless of quality, regardless of talent, it so boils down to these unattainable things like time slot.
Yeah.
Where it just, you know, how much juice does Amy Poehler have in order to pull off that time slot? And as an actor who's suddenly involved in a show, you know, all of this is out of your control.
Yeah.
So all you can do is show up and kick some serious ass.
Yeah.
You obviously fall madly in love with Amy Poehler. How could you not? She's ridiculous when it comes to talent.
Oh, man.
Is she, in fact, God's comedy angel? That's my question.
Yes.
Well, it can't be for me because I don't believe in God. But here's the thing.
You don't believe in God? You know what? Let's
We're done.
Let's talk about that.
No, we're madly in love with her instantly because. And I thought you had a pretty interesting quote from one of the interviews previously, which was, you know, when Steve Carell took over The Office, you said, the writers had to write for new and different strengths, while the audience was waiting for him to not be Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
And they kind of expected Amy to be like, or the misunderstanding could be that they would start to write for a Steve Carell kind of voice.
Right.
When they started writing Parks and Rec.
Right.
And then she owns it and makes it her own.
Yes.
In 9 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an unbelievable talent that she has, but also how the writers immediately, like you were saying, they write to your strength as they started to realize what it was. The progress they made in those first 6 episodes, I guess is my point, is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
By the end of it.
Yeah, I think, you know, tone is
it's everything.
Is everything in comedy. Tone is everything, and that's what they were doing. I think is like they're tuning the show, you know, to get the tone and find out what tone worked correctly. Because I think, you know, you don't, especially in comedy and especially in the format that we have, which is this mockumentary style, loose broadcast cam. They're not laying any dolly tracks or, you know, relighting. You just show up on set and you start shooting, and you shoot each scene 20, 30 times. You just work the fuck out of the material. It's boiled down to 21 and a half minutes, but we're shooting 65 hours of stuff. I mean,
a week.
Literally, the cameras are rolling and collecting stuff for 60 hours a week or more. And our pages are, you know, 40-page scripts to get cut down to 21 and a half minutes.
Right.
You could have an hour and a half long Parks and Rec episode every single week with the stuff we
Without
shoot,
question.
you know. But they cut it down, they get it super tight, and they fit it in that time slot. And so through all of that sort of music coming in, they had to pick the right stuff and assemble what became the tone. And through the course of the 6 episodes, they did that.
Well, there's a perfect example of how the editing process is the final rewrite, for sure. And they're you're right. They're collecting the knowledge of the takes. What a task, though, to find that tone with that much material.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And also, so in the first 6 weeks, you're getting a chance to kind of spread your wings a little bit. I'm curious, though. I didn't see too much about how you initially got involved in the show in terms of auditioning and.
It was just it was an audition.
Wide net been thrown for the character.
Yeah.
And it was as a guest star?
It was a guest star. It was I feel like, I'm not exactly certain, but I think the character on Everwood was a guest star as well. I think every character I've ever done in TV started as a guest star and became, I have a weird run for TV.
Do you know who else had a career that started that way? Jaleel White.
Really? Wow.
Urkel was a guest star in the pilot.
Is that right?
No
Yeah.
way.
That's true.
The Fonz was in a Windbreaker, and he was not the star of the show.
Really?
I don't know that he was a guest star, but he was.
Right.
He may have been 7 out of 13.
Yeah, I think that's that's really what I'm thinking in my head is that was one of the other. But my first manager told me when I was auditioning for Everwood, I was like, oh, this is because it was written as kind of like the bully. It was like the bully character. I was like, man, I don't know about this. I don't know why I could possibly be questioning it at the time. I was 22 and I'm like auditioning for anything.
Yeah.
And she would just said, just know something about TV. When they meet you, they'll write for you.
Right.
And
When they see what you can do.
When they see what you can do, they'll write for you. And that was the advice I got from my very first manager, Bonnie. Rest in peace.
Pretty great advice.
And yeah, and she and it was, I kind of felt that with this, you know. They said it's just it's a guest star, but if it comes back, you know, if it does come back, then you could be a regular. And I remember hearing that advice in my head. I was like, if, you know, they'll write it for me. They'll just, it'll work out. I'm going to come back.
And it did.
I secretly knew.
Did you?
Yeah.
So when you go in for this audition,
No, I didn't.
when you go in for the audition, how much material have you read?
I've read
parts?
for the audition. I think
Was it just sides? Was it
just the sides. There was a guy
Couple
playing
scenes.
a couple scenes. Guy playing a computer, or playing video games with 2 broken legs. That's all we had. And so we did the scenes the way they were written. Actually, right off the bat, I just started improvising. Right off the bat, it was like I was supposed to.
In the audition?
In the audition, yeah. I just started going off book and
Also
getting
ballsy?
laughs. Yeah, I remember I had been playing Grand Theft Auto 4 at the time, and they had just released the cheat codes for a hovercraft, which you could spawn so that it would land on a prostitute in the game. And I would like drop a boat. I would just walk over and just drop a boat on a hooker. And it would make me laugh so hard. And I thought, that's what this guy's been doing all day, you know? So when she comes home, I just like went off book about how I'm spawning hovercrafts and dropping them on prostitutes, and I was laughing at myself. And then she started moving forward with the scene, and I'm like, no, just watch this. and so like we did that, and then they did an improv. It was Rashida and I reading together,
Right.
and Amy was in the room. It was the first time I met either of them.
Wow.
And I was like, this is working. I'm getting laughs. And then it was, you know, as good auditions are. It was over before it started. It felt like, and I just walked out and I said, congratulations to Amy, because she had just had her first son, and she said, you're really funny. And then I just walked out. I was like, oh, she said I'm really funny. I might get this role.
Was it a callback situation? Did you have to go back and be tortured?
I think it was like I went directly to them the first time or something, because it was Allison Jones, the casting director, and I'd known her through different things. And
The Emmy Award-winning Allison Jones.
Oh, she's terrific.
And
She's
you'd
the
done
best.
TV enough so that you're reading for the network?
Yeah, I was just. Oh no, this one, I don't remember if I had it.
If it's a guest star, they usually don't make you read in front of
Oh,
the
that's
network.
right.
Oh yeah, right.
That's how you got to skirt around.
That's how I skipped the
worst part.
The worst part. Yeah, and and because that was sort of the deal, it was like, look, you're going to be a guest star, and if we do exercise your contract, we'll come back. And I just remember being like, all right, here we go again. Let's see. Hopefully they'll,
Here we go again is right, with the guest star nonsense.
Yeah.
Have you ever actually gone to the network on a test? You probably have.
I did. You know what I did
For jobs you didn't get.
Oh yeah, I've tested for a lot of things, a ton of things that I didn't get. That are still on the air today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And I'm like, that's okay. I'm
What
glad
else?
I didn't get it because I really like the job.
The original Joey Tribbiani?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That was you, right?
Hey, yeah.
I thought so. I read about that.
Yeah.
Read about that. Too bad.
God damn it.
It's all right.
It's between him and Joey Pants.
That's right.
That's it.
You know what? We like to include the audience whenever possible.
They're not up there.
Oh, where are they?
They're not up there.
They're on the interwebs.
What?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
This question is coming to you from the Twitterverse at TTIS. Anybody? TTIS Constant?
I don't have the monitor next to me.
TTIS Constant. When you started both Everwood and Parks and Rec, did you ever imagine your characters would become fan favorites? Well, we've been talking about how you go from guest star to series regular, but is it in the back of your mind ever that fans are going to love me?
I don't think so.
That's leaping ahead.
Way ahead. You don't even realize you have fans until you're like in your 5th season or something like that. And there's a lot of things you're hoping for before that.
Yeah.
I hope this pilot gets picked up.
Right.
Oh no, I hope I get this pilot. I hope the pilot gets picked up, and then, ooh, if it does, I hope they don't cut me out of it or recast me when it goes to series. Oh, they didn't. I hope we get the back 9. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
So many ways to get screwed.
Yeah, the last thing if you're smart, the last thing in the world you're going to be focused on is whether or not people are going to find you a fan favorite.
Well, that's an excellent point. It is, if you're smart and playing heads-up ball, then you're not thinking about that stuff. In fact, it's only TV marketing people who come to you later and go, your character's a fan favorite. And you don't even know what that means.
Yeah, like, really?
Yeah.
Based on...
You and Nick Offerman are fan favorites.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
I can't wait to tell Nick.
Yeah. Based on a group of 50 people who, at the mall, were willing to come into a weird room.
Yeah, do you have
really?
air conditioning and free soup?
Yeah.
Which one would you consider to be a fan favorite?
This one.
Those two guys.
Yeah.
I like those two guys. Which one? The one with the mustache and the large one.
Were you in that group?
The little wiry guy? The little wiry guy?
Sounds like you were in the
You
group.
don't care so much for him? No, I don't. He's too high energy. This one from @Diana1975. Will Chris sing the Little Sebastian song?
Will I, like right now?
I think so.
Sure.
I don't think you can because we can't pay for the rights.
Can't remember the rights. It could only be enjoyed by the people watching us live right now. And then
right.
that's it.
Yeah, but then it's editing later and I can't.
Yeah, we can't do that.
pay
We
for
don't have that kind of budget.
That's right. We'll go to the nice question though. Jesus.
Thanks for asking. I would love to. But
It seems like he was game, by the way. I'd
Yeah.
like to point that out. I was going to try to
we're-
save him, but he seemed like he was up for it.
I love that song.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you were in stand-up for 9 minutes. Walk me a little bit through this if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
So you get from Washington State to Hawaii, and somewhere in between you do stand-up?
Yes, in between. And a little bit in here in LA when I got here. But Washington, when I was 18 or 17, I graduated high school, and I moved out and became a door-to-door salesman. And
Selling Kirby vacuum cleaners?
no, selling much lower priced items, coupons for businesses in the service industry. 4 oil changes for $20, 3 or 4 trips to a day
You're
spa
selling
for $35.
a packet.
Yeah, it was just one coupon.
Oh.
I'd walk around and be like, "Hi, I'm from Meineke. Here you go. 4 oil changes, $20. Pretty great, right? Cash, check, or credit card today, and we'll take that. No, okay. Fuck you too, sir. Please don't stick your dog on me.
Couple
I'm
doors,
leaving.
couple doors slammed in your face.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I did the job for about a year and a half.
Jesus.
Got really good at it. Was salesman of the year for the company.
Shut the fuck up.
And got a free trip to Jamaica.
What?
Yeah, I became a manager within 6 weeks. I had a crew. I was the perfect mixture of enthusiasm
And size.
and naivete
yeah.
to answer an ad that says, "Do you like rock and roll music? Do you want to make money?" I was like, "Holy shit! Yes, I do." So what's this rock music? Okay, you're selling coupons? Sweet. No, you don't. They don't sell coupons. We're in advertising. Oh, okay. So anyways, I opened my own business in Colorado when I was 19 and just lost my ass. Point being, high turnover rate in
Wait a minute.
Seattle.
We went from door to door, year and a half,
Year and a half.
trip to Jamaica.
Trip to Jamaica.
How did we get to Colorado?
That's the whole point. Is if you do well, one day you can have your own office.
Ah.
And that was.
We'd like you to run the office in Colorado.
Yes, which I did, but failed miserably. They put a lien on my minivan. Pretty bad. But backing up to answer how I got into stand-up comedy, there was a really high turnover rate in Seattle. We just like 1 or 2 new guys a week who'd end up quitting by the end of the week. A lot of the money that you make is just from them like selling 3 or 4 and then leaving because
Right.
it's just the shittiest fucking job anybody's ever fucking done. It's great prep for being an actor in terms of
Lying?
lying, walking into a room, feeling comfortable, and having thick skin.
Right.
There's no better.
Wow, thick skin for sure.
Oh my God!
To face
People
all that rejection.
Oh yeah, people now are like, God, I just can't handle all the rejection as an actor. I'm like, fuck you, dude. They invite you there
Yeah.
for an audition. You're not like sneaking in some side door to try to sell you something for set. Anyways, so you can tell me I'm as fat as I want, or or as you want. You can tell me anything you want, and it's not going to hurt my feelings. I've got really thick skin from being a door-to-door salesman. Point being, high turnover rate.
Stand-up comedy in Seattle?
Yep.
Swanee's Comedy Underground?
Giggles.
Giggles.
Oh,
Giggles.
giggles.
Yeah, that was one of my jokes was about. Well, I wasn't good, but one of the guys.
One of your jokes was making fun of the name of the place?
Yeah. Jiggles.
Do you know Dana Gould by any chance?
Yes, I do.
He's one of the writers on The Simpsons for years and years.
Yeah, of
Great
course.
stand-up comedian. He was here a couple of weeks ago, and I'd been dining on his fake funny name for a comedy club that I remember him using 20-something years ago. Uncle Fucker's Chuckle Hutch.
You added fucker. It's fuck.
Yeah, no, I said Uncle Fuck for years, and he corrected me saying it was Uncle Fucker's.
Son of
Uncle
a bitch.
Fucker's Chuckle Hut.
Uncle
See,
Fucker's
I wasn't here
Chuckle
for that
Hutch.
episode, Kenny.
Chuckle Hut.
I wasn't here for that episode.
Anywho, so you made fun of Giggles, and there you were doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
Was it like a...
I had a guy who was like a booking, like who came to work for us, who was a guy who booked talent for stand-up shows, and so he was like, "Hey, you have a funny personality and blah blah blah. Have you ever thought of being a stand-up comedian?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's try it out." And so he had like a couple of college things that he would put together at frats and at sororities.
Had you thought about doing it before he suggested it?
I think so. I was just old enough to even. I think I'd just turned 18.
And so what comedians were you aware of?
Oh, just growing up, the usual comedians. I mean, from Steve Martin and to
George Carlin.
George Carlin. I didn't know a lot of George Carlin. Jeff Foxworthy was a big. Where I grew up was like people fucking loved Jeff Foxworthy. So like all those albums, I really liked a lot. Obviously, the Adam Sandler CDs or back in the day, the skits that he would do on his CDs. I was crazy about those. I was crazy about the Jerky Boys. And just like, I don't know, just like stand-up comedians I would watch on TV and on HBO and stuff like that. And I always felt like I had liked the spotlight, and I found I was making people laugh. So this was my opportunity to try that, and so I did it. I did it a couple times with him, and
Colleges?
then I did a couple college things, and then I did at Giggles. I would just like open mic nights. I never like had my own act or anything like that. I would just go do it every weekend. And
The college, though, you had to put an act together for...
yeah, I had to put together like 15 minutes. I honestly, the first time I went up, I kind of murdered.
You kind of...
I kind of murdered. I did.
You
really
accidentally
well.
crushed it?
I accidentally crushed it. Yeah.
And improvising the entire thing, or you...
No, I put together.
You wrote...
I wrote an
a
act.
15-minute act.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That's wildly impressive.
Yeah, I wrote it in like a couple of weeks.
And you worked it out at open mic nights before the college thing?
Nope. This is my first time. Well, I worked it. I did a couple. They weren't open mics, but I just had people that would gather around, and I'm like, hey, let me try out my material. Let me try my jokes, and I put it together, and it was just like observations of my, I don't know, it was stand-up. It was just jokes.
Like, try to
punchlines.
sell them a coupon, and then when that didn't work, let me try to...
Yeah. Well, no, not so much there. I was so focused at that job. I was.
Not terribly funny.
not terribly funny, but somebody made a lot of money off of me. I don't know who it was, but I kicked ass at that job. If I could have found someone like me when I opened my office.
Oh, exactly.
I'd
it sounds a little
out.
bit like a pyramid thing.
Oh, it totally was. Yeah.
You need people underneath you absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're a dick in an office.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was.
Who gets to lean on his minivan.
Yeah. My mom had to fly me home.
Let's not talk about why you had a minivan.
For my crew.
Ah.
Well, let's not talk about it. Right. Sorry.
For your crew.
Yeah, for my sales crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to @Descenzo. Oh, another thing on the show. Oh, you can do that. It's fine. Do you want another one, by the way?
Yeah, I was going to ask for another one.
Can
but
we
I
get
didn't know
another
DC?
DC.
Another-
You get another DC?
another DC?
Let's fucking go already. Why don't I have it yet? Why isn't it here yet?
True.
How long ago did I
colors.
ask for that? Sucks. Come out of here.
Okay.
Oh,
Really?
shit, that's
Oh,
all right.
no.
Show them what the options are, please.
How about a
Show 'em-
CZ?
Anything will work.
CZ?
CZ.
Show them some options. I think he means Coke Zero.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
It's cherry flavored.
Great. Even better.
Cherry flavored Coke Zero, you son of a bitch.
Do we have any cubic zirconias out there? Apparently that's what I'm calling for.
Another form of questions from the audience.
Oh, good.
It's a rapid fire.
Let's do it.
5 questions.
Okay.
They are Coke or Pepsi, this or that, no correct answer.
Okay.
Okay.
One or the other.
They are specifically designed for you.
Oh.
And Dave Keckner was kind enough to give us this little graphic. It's a Tweet 5, it's called. T5 Forever, he sings. That song we do have the rights to.
We have to. It's parody.
This Tweet 5 comes to you from @Descenzo. Pawnee or Everwood?
Pawnee.
Mouse, rat, or scarecrow boat?
Scarecrow boat.
Reggie Wayne or Hatterberg?
Hatterberg.
Swanson mustache?
Swanson
or
mustache.
Treats beard? Cake or pie?
Pie.
What are we talking about?
That is the
Pie.
correct answer.
Come on.
That is the
Pie is the correct answer, right?
Anyone who says cake is wrong.
Yeah. You're like, no right or wrong answer, except on that last one.
Yeah.
You lucked out.
Yeah, you really hit that one right. You hit it on the sweet spot.
I will say, though, that Treat Williams' beard is a very close second to Ron Swanson's
impressive.
mustache, but nothing can beat Ron Swanson's mustache.
No, yeah. I mean, one only needs to look at the couple of holes in your own beard to appreciate Treat Williams' beard.
Yeah.
How dare you? That is a beautiful,
It's a terrible beard.
beautiful beard.
A cat could lick this off.
No.
I could shave without taking the guard off.
But here's the question: does it grow in fast?
By the way, if I may, no disrespect to the cats, tongues are made of sandpaper.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean-
no disrespect to cats.
There's another game on the show that, since we ultimately and originally met through the Twitterverse,
Yes.
there's a game we like to call Who Tweeted?
Who tweeted?
Oh, this is so exciting! I get to come up and be at the table.
Yes.
Celebrities have so much to say. Is the game we're gonna play.
Oh.
Sam Levine, everybody.
Oh, thank you. No, please, Chris.
Stay
Louder.
seated.
Am I sitting?
No, we should stay seated?
Yes.
Okay. Sammy, explain the game if you would, please.
This is the best game in the world.
Easy,
Whoa.
easy.
Here's how it's going to
Wow.
go.
No pressure.
Here's how it's going to go. Are you familiar with Tyra, Paris, and Bieber?
Yes.
As in entities,
As in, you
Not
only
the-
need the one name.
not that you follow them on Twitter, but that you...
You've heard of them. You're
Yeah.
familiar with their
Naturally.
with their lives.
Tyrus?
Tyra.
Yeah, I know this Tyrus guy. Tyra, Paris, and Bieber. Done.
So they're all on Twitter, and what I'm going to do is one at a time. I'm going to read a series of 8 tweets, and at the end of each tweet, or as soon as you feel like you know, you're going to ring in and tell me whether you think that tweet was authored by Tyra, Paris, or Bieber.
And 8
I'm going to read 8.
that
Total of
are
8.
from one person.
No, all 8 are from one of the 3.
Got it.
I'm going to
Yes,
stop
yeah.
after each one.
Got it.
Okay?
One
you
at a
ring
time.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
one at a time. You ring in by smacking the table, saying your own name. Just let me know it's you.
Instead of going buzz,
Right.
because that could be both of us at
Whatever.
the same time. If
I
we
will-
say our own name, he'll know who rung it.
Oh, we're competing?
You're competing
are
against
indeed.
Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll point to you after you ring in. You get 3 seconds to say Tyra, Paris, or Bieber.
Okay.
You ring in, you get it right, you get yourself 5 points. Ring in, you get it wrong, you're going to lose 3.
Ooh, got it. Okay.
And just to entice you, Be playing against Kevin for this dancing Andrew Jackson.
Whoa, whoa.
See him dance?
Yep, there goes.
So you're saying there's money at stake?
Creepy shit.
There is $20 US at stake.
That's magic, by the way.
There you go.
Wait, why are you going to him? Don't go to him. No, he hasn't won yet. What are you doing,
Are you ready to play?
jackass?
Yeah, what the? Yeah, yes, I think I am. I'm a little tripped out by this. movie.
Right? It's crazy, right?
I'm not gonna lie. You guys are
A little
not
tripped
making.
Actually,
Oh, it's the win. I'm like, is this a gag? You're fucking with me. You're like, this magic 20. Let's get back to the game.
The gag-
and ignore the paranormal activity on the table.
Ignore Dr. Chen's telekinesis powers.
Actually, it was acid in the Coke Zero. Okay, so
Tyra,
5
Paris,
points.
Tyra.
Paris, or Bieber?
Bieber.
5 points for correct answers, -3 for incorrect answers.
Got it.
So there's a penalty if you get it incorrect.
Here we go.
Question
roll
number
on.
1.
This hotel is the best. They surprised me with sand on my patio from Cancun and said we wanted to make sure you enjoyed the beaches.
Kevin Bieber.
That is correct.
Whoa.
It's all right. It's all right.
Look the fuck out.
It's all right.
You're not the only one that competes.
Tweet number 2. So excited to realize that @Judy Bloom started following me back. She's an inspiration.
Tweet or Chris, Tyra.
That is correct.
Nice!
Nicely
Tied
done.
up. Instantly tied up.
There you go.
Nice.
Tweet number 3.
This is awesome. This is the best game in the world. You weren't lying.
I was not. Not
This is so much fun.
Play with your friends.
Tweet number 3. What is everyone up to this weekend? Any good movies out?
Kevin Bieber.
Oh, sorry, no.
Incorrect.
So you go to the next question, or do I have a chance to answer?
No,
No,
there's
go to the
no.
next
Yeah, he
question.
loses points, so we can't. That was Paris.
I was going to say Paris, but then that meant you went from Bieber to Tyra to Paris, and it seemed like you would mix it up and not do 3 in a row, giving each one equal time. I gave you more credit than that. My mistake.
You should go back and rewatch previous episodes because I mix it up all the time, motherfucker. All the time.
Except for
There's
the-
no pattern.
Except for the first 3.
No,
Yeah.
there's no pattern.
Okay.
Tweet number 4. Had a great photo shoot.
Chris.
Then 3 seconds.
Tyra.
You're so fucked.
Paris.
Had a great
Paris.
photo shoot. Could have been any one of them.
No,
It's
good
all right.
point.
What was the rest of that tweet?
Had a great photo shoot, then went to my chiropractor @Dr. Tom PRC to get adjusted and massaged. Feels so much better. #yes.
I would have definitely still said Tyra.
Oh, all right. It's okay. So
Tied
we're
score.
tied again at
Tied
+2.
again.
Here we go.
Very
Tweet
exciting.
number 5. Totally random. Did you know that it is impossible to speak while inhaling through your mouth or nose? Impossible!
What?
Chris.
He just proved it wrong.
Paris.
I'm sorry, sir, you have to ring in first.
I did.
And possibly
said
rethink your
Chris.
answer. Oh, did you? And you
Tyra.
said, I'm sorry. Judges?
I said Tyra, I think. I think I said Bieber.
Judges?
Paris was the first.
Did he say Paris or Tyra?
I think I said Bieber.
He said Bieber? Well, that's all right. Bieber's also wrong, so I guess
Oh, which one is it?
it's Tyra. It's Tyra.
But I said Paris the first time?
Yes.
Okay.
You did. I'm sorry. We got to keep things honest here.
-1.
Minus
There
1
is,
to
there is
+3.
money
It's a
on the line.
three-point
There is cash
swing.
on the line. Tweet number 6.
3 to go.
Don't you hate it when something's in your teeth and you keep trying to get it out with your tongue while trying to be subtle while people stare?
Chris, Tyra.
That is correct.
Whoa!
Taking the lead.
Whoa!
Taking the lead.
You're the best. Around. Nothing's gonna ever
Also,
take
don't have the
it
rights to
out.
that song.
Sorry. No, I know Joe.
Do you?
Joe.
Do you know Joe?
Estevez.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not it.
What?
Esposito. Joe Esposito.
Nice.
That's who did it.
Joe Estevez is
Sorry. Just a little racist.
that
Here
a-
we go. Tweet number 7.
that Emilio's brother? Joe Estevez?
Tweet number 7.
Tweet number 7.
The fucking heat is on, Capo. It's a 2-point game.
Down by 2.
Had a fun night. Went to dinner at Spago, then had a mini bowling tournament at our friend's house.
Kevin Paris.
That is correct.
Yeah!
Taking the lead back.
Fucker!
Now it's a 3-point game.
I've never celebrated like that. What's the
Now,
matter
I'd
with
like
me?
to point this out.
What's the matter with me?
I'd like to point this out. Chris, if you ring in and get this next question correct, you win. Kevin, you ring in, you get it wrong. We are tied.
Ooh.
So I can
thought I'd
just
point that out.
1 in 3 chance of winning right now, no matter what I say.
No matter what, pretty much.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
The potential 8th and final tweet.
I'm gonna fucking spend the shit out of that money.
Love when press think I'm annoyed because I look tired. I'm just tired. It's normal. I'm not a machine. I'm in Brazil.
Chris, Tyra.
Kevin Bieber.
Unfortunately, it is Bieber. Making our winner, Kevin Pollak.
That is wrong. You were right there. You were at the precipice of a victory. I'm gonna split. No.
I so wanted to make a Hatterberg home run comparison there, but it just didn't work out that way. That's all right.
Walk off.
That's all right. We're gonna walk it off.
Thank you, Sammy.
My pleasure.
Disappointing.
You're gonna get him next time, buddy.
We prefer when the guest wins.
I tried.
He was a gamer. Let's be honest.
He came to play.
Can I tell you the truth? I'm really competitive. Like, part of me is dying inside right now that I lost.
We've
stupid is that?
We've had a lot of guests say that.
Really?
Well,
Was Kathy
we're
the
in a-
Jimmy
We're in a slight. Oh God.
like
she
took
was-
it so seriously?
We're in a
Yeah.
slightly competitive business,
That is true. That is true.
and I also would prefer that you feel that way as opposed to not give a shit. We've had a few guests.
Right,
We've had a few guests who
Joe
are like,
McHale.
what is this?
Joe McHale
Joe
wanted the
McHale.
game to be over 10 minutes before it
Joe
started.
McHale was writing emails
Yeah,
during the game.
he was gone.
I'm sorry. What is it?
Are we really doing this? Is that still going on? This bit's to go? All right, Bieber. I don't know.
He's a crazy talented son of a bitch, the McHale. Don't you think?
Yes.
Nicely done, by the way.
Yes.
Nice
Yes, I do.
performance.
Yes, I do, Joel.
I want to know what it's like to gain 50 pounds for this movie. It's called 10 Year.
Yeah.
It's kind of a new Big Chill, if you will, a high school reunion or college? High school reunion.
Yeah.
And you shot the whole thing in Albuquerque in this one hotel where you were also staying
Yes.
as a cast. So you'd get up in the morning, walk down into the lobby, and report to work.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was awesome. It was really exceptional. I think that, in the comparison to like a Big Chill or something, is in that it's just a lot of people from a generation pulled together. You know, I
In
mean,
a reunion setting.
And yeah, and there are movies like that, and that was one thing I really liked about it. But what was nice about this is it was no money. Like, nobody was there for the money. It was so low budget. We were breaking every rule, you know, forcing us and all that, and everybody was there just out of passion for what they were doing.
And a pretty great cast.
Yeah, an exceptional cast. Really great ensemble.
Can you share a couple of them?
Yeah, definitely. Channing Tatum, his sweet wife, Jenna Dewan, Justin Long, Max Minghella, Kate Mara, Rosario Dawson, myself, Anthony Mackie.
Jesus.
Lynn Collins. I'm forget Ari Grainer, Scott Porter. It was a really
Amazing
big
cast,
cast.
yeah.
Aaron Yu. I'm forgetting somebody, and I'm gonna. But we had the best time.
And everyone's roughly in their mid-30s?
Yeah, no, late 20s, early 30s. It's
But I
supposed
guess
to be
if
a
you were
10-year high
10
school,
year-
so we're supposed to be 28.
Yeah. Most of you are stretching that.
Yeah, most of us.
Technically.
Not me. I mean, I'm like several years younger than that.
It's
so.
show business, Kevin. I'm 45. Come on.
It was nice. You know what was a stroke of genius by Jamie Linden, who directed it, is he wrote a script and named the characters after the actors he wanted to play the roles.
Shut the fuck up.
So I was reading a script with Channing Tatum, Jenna. My character's character name was Chris Pratt. Everyone was calling him Pratt. And so, when you have such a large ensemble and you're reading a script with all fictional names, it's just impossible to keep
Keep track of who's who.
And what's
Wow,
happening.
that is kind of brilliant, actually. With that many.
That is the reason this movie got made. I can really credit that one thing, because when I'm reading Rosario Dawson in a script, or I'm reading Channing Tatum, also Aubrey Plaza is in the movie, and Brian
Wow.
Garrity. That's whom I was forgetting. When you can picture who the person is, the story becomes, you can like really picture it happening.
Absolutely.
And he put the actors in. So he made the script more clear and a more enjoyable experience just from reading it. And B, he appealed to the vanity of these actors to be like, when I was reading.
Well, he wrote this for me.
Yeah. Wow.
How does that not seep in?
It totally does.
I'm
I
sorry.
did the movie.
Quick question.
Who did the Sam Levine part?
No, Justin Long is in the movie, so there's your answer. So I'm to assume that Rosario Dawson and Aubrey Plaza were in the same high school graduating class?
No.
Okay, just
Aubrey
making sure.
Plaza is playing the spouse to Brian Garrity. You're to make the.
So she was a little younger.
Yeah. I
Very
think
well.
you'd assume so. Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, but not much younger.
All right.
They're both
Sam's a
pretty young.
stickler, as you can see.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what he does.
you know, it's just when you hire, like, if you're going to hire 10 actors to play 28 and they're all, say, between 30 and 35, that's fine. And there's like, oh, we got one character left to hire, and they hire like a 19-year-old, you're like, wait a minute. That doesn't sit right.
Right. She's not 19.
She's not 19.
Right.
I was
I got
using
you.
extremes.
You're
to
creating
make
a chasm.
a chasm,
Yeah.
and it takes me out of the story.
I'm having a chasm.
Right.
You're creating a chasm.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah. Forgive me.
So, how much time did you have to gain all this weight?
I knew that movie was in the works and that we were going to probably do it at the end of the year, and we ended up doing it in January. So they pushed it a little bit, but I was able to do it. So I knew that from the time I wrapped Moneyball until 10 year, I was just going to gain as much weight as possible. If they'd pushed it till June, I'd have gained 70 pounds. I just was there's a little blog, I think Vulture did a blog on me trying to gain weight for the role of Andy in Parks and Rec, which I was, because I had 10 episodes of Parks and Rec to do to gain all that weight back. And so like the last 10 episodes of the third season, like I was saying, the 6 episodes,
Oh, right.
and then there was the break where we shot Moneyball, and then I came back. You can see me gaining that weight through the episodes, and yeah, it was just, it was go time. And Anna had just come back from shooting her movie, so she was baking. I said, honey, it's go time, it's balloon time, let's do it. And so she was baking me apple strudels for breakfast.
Sure.
I'd have an entire apple strudel,
Fuck yes.
like this big, like a whole pan full of fucking apple goodness for ice cream on top. I'd go knock out some pancakes, bacon, eggs, waffles. I'd start drinking beer at about noon. It was gluttonous.
You should start charging Kevin $1.99 a minute to hear you keep talking like this.
Yeah.
For the record.
Because I'm masturbating in my head?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't it just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I'm also on
really,
the third
really
day
fun.
of a annoying
Oh, are you?
diet.
Oh,
yeah.
right. This
No,
is
it's
when
a-
it begins.
it's
This
a-
is so you can eat whatever you want for the holidays, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, every 6 months.
I know.
It's the third time I've done this, and it's pretty remarkable. But I'm enjoying the fuck out of hearing these foods described.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And rich dark beer, like the most calorie
Porters.
ridden.
Porter was I got really into a big porter kick. Jack and regular Coke, or whiskey and regular Coke.
So when you're in a scenario of, it's not just I can eat whatever I want. It's I have to be more gluttonous than I normally would ever be. Clearly, you're on a mission,
Or just as gluttonous as I always would want to be, but never allow myself to be.
but would never allow yourself to be. That's
Yeah.
the key here, because, well, I mean, you're at a weight now that you choose to be at.
Yeah.
And it's not as big as we know Andy to be for most seasons.
Yeah.
So this is more of a weight that you're more comfortable at.
Yeah.
You're not saying to your wife, honey, where the fuck's the apple strudel?
No. In fact, now it's a little different. Well, after that experience,
Then you got to lose.
I took like a good look at my lifestyle, and it definitely wasn't healthy. And through the course of gaining all that weight and drinking so much beer, I was drinking a lot. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take like a year or so off of booze. And so I cut alcohol out.
Like 6 months ago, you
About
said?
6 months ago, yeah. And that's been a huge part of why I've now weighed what I weigh now. which
And you
is-
were saying before the show, just by cutting out all that alcohol on a daily consumption,
Yeah.
you dropped
Probably at least 25 pounds, maybe 30 pounds.
just by cutting out booze.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but which was, I'm a big guy, so that's maybe 10 or 15 pounds of somebody else. I weigh probably twice as much as a lot of guys. You know, I was up to 265, 275 for the movie 10 Year. Usually Andy is about 255 or 260.
Oh, what are you, like 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's
There's a big frame here, people. We're talking about a big frame.
Yeah, big frame.
The house was not
And I
built.
take big shits.
I think we've got our soundbite.
There it is.
Back to our fans watching live. This one comes to you from @ParadoxDL regarding Everwood. Did you ever feel that the show deserved better than being on the WB? Any fond memories of making the show? Well, we were speaking earlier about how it was an absolute darling of the critics, unlike any other show on the WB. And you had a great working experience, or so it seemed from what you were saying.
Yes.
And also, you were in that getting your master's degree, as it were,
Yeah.
in long hours, many pages, camera blocking. If they're shooting on film, then camera blocking is hugely important.
Yeah.
Any other, I guess, experiences from that you might be able to share?
One thing that stands out is I got to work with both Betty White and James Earl Jones on that show.
Holy shit.
They say you can judge a show by the company it keeps in its guest stars.
That's true.
And-
Who wants to guest star on this show?
Yeah, and we had Betty White played my grandmother, and James Earl Jones played.
Darth Vader?
Yeah, he played Darth Vader in Everwood. And there was a scene where I was in a scene with James Earl Jones, and we were in the back seat of this car. At the time, I was going through like a big rap phase where I was like freestyle rapping all the time.
Uh-oh.
And I just improvised a rap in the back seat of the car in a scene with James Earl Jones.
In a scene?
That made the episode.
Holy shit!
That was like the first time I ever like fully scored. It was like, great on many levels. It was like the first time I ever scored an improv that made it onto an episode, I think. Uh-huh. And also it was James Earl Jones. So that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. He's such a powerful actor.
Oh man.
I can remember, this must be mid-80s. Is Dana Carvey on SNL by mid-80s?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, late 80s, but
Dana Carvey
87, 88.
and I had known each other from stand-up comedy in San Francisco. So many, many years later, he's on SNL. I'm in New York doing stand-up, whatever. And I go to see James Earl Jones in a matinee of a play called Fences. Mm-hmm. And
Thomas Wilson?
Yeah. And at intermission, my shit is beyond blown. And I call the only person I know in New York at the time. And it's Dana Carvey. And I say, I got to see you for something to eat or drink after this is over. I got to talk to somebody because I can never, ever call myself an actor after watching what I'm watching James Earl Jones do. I can never, and I was just obsessing on, I'm not an actor, I'm a poser, I'm the bullshit. And I was just a wannabe at the time. I hadn't really accomplished anything, but I was certainly a wannabe. And Dana said, God bless him, relax, Kevin, we're comedians. You don't have to worry about ever being an actor. And he was so right. I have skipped, I've done a few movies, I don't know the exact number, 64. And
How many good?
And 6 are great.
There you go.
Yeah. And I still consider myself a comedian with no real,
Yeah.
knowledge or technique, and other than I can be real in front of the camera. And I want to ask you, because you had an acting coach you mentioned who, when you started Parks and Rec, said, find somebody in the cast that you can really kind of connect to and maybe learn the most from. And for you, in this case, it was Nick Offerman or so.
In Parks and Rec was
Parks
Nick
and Rec,
Offerman, yeah. And on Everwood it was Tom Amandis.
Okay. And so, tell me a little bit about your training. I mean, we didn't talk about it, but in your dossier, it's been written about so much and talked about so much. I don't want to go into this too much. But you're 19, you're a waiter, and Ray Don Chong is in Maui to direct something, and you wait on her, and you recognize her, and you end up getting a part, and that's how it all kind of started. But at some point, you start training.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did a couple of when I first got to LA, I was just hungry to do anything. Right. You know how that goes, and so
you go on auditions for anything.
And I was also starving hungry. It was like I couldn't afford just go and pay.
Did you start in porn? I didn't see that.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
No. I was never paid for any of the pornography I did. I couldn't afford to do acting classes,
Right.
and so I went and I looked up this guy who had put on my friend Ben Davis. I hung out with him this morning. Great friend and terrific actor, and he had done a one-man show, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I just got his number from somebody, and I said, hey, you don't know me, I'm new to town, my name's Chris, but I heard you did a one-man show. I just want to talk to you. I just want to pick your brain about it, you know what I mean? And so that was the beginning of a really long friendship. And the majority of any training that I've done has been through him. He now works closely with Ivana Chubbuck and teaches at her studio. And so he has the ability to teach the Ivana Chubbuck method of acting, which is like hearing about actors and their methods for acting. I almost just shot myself in the face right now for even talking about it like this. But he studies with Ivana Chubbuck. So in terms of training, that was a big thing. But I think for, I don't know, it's sort of the 4 years I had on Everwood, and then it's just kind of the school of hard knocks.
There's no education like on hands.
Yeah, and I've been doing this now. I haven't had to wait tables in 10 years, and so I've put together a decade of supporting myself as an actor, and I've learned a lot along the way. I know I have a lot left to learn, but
Shit ton.
a shit ton left. Maybe like one. No, I have a shit ton left to learn.
We all do.
And hopefully I get to do this for the rest of my life. That would be amazing.
Did you learn how to audition only from all those auditions, or did you feel like you were learning how to actually act? Because I felt like the hundreds of auditions I went on before I got anything, literally hundreds, I just learned how to audition. I didn't really learn much about acting.
Yeah, I think I
learned how to break down a scene and all that, but it was more about how do I go in that room and blow their mind and be better than everybody else out here.
Oh yeah, that's a huge lesson to learn as an actor. And I feel there was a moment where I got really good at auditioning, and then on the day, they would be like, "What happened? Like you showed up and you murdered in the audition, and now you don't know what the fuck you're doing." And I would be like, "Because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I know how to audition because I'm doing it enough times to where I can make it look like I know what I'm doing."
That's my point,
And
yeah.
so as time goes on, you learn more and more, and you get better at. I think you just have to absorb things, and you have to watch people, and you have to kind of. Not only for what to do, but for what to not do.
Yeah.
It's important to watch people on how not to act, or how not to both act and also behave, on set and stuff like that.
Well, you mentioned you tested for several other things that you didn't get. Do you remember any one in particular that went more horribly than the other ones? Because, we all did, but it's just it's fun to share. We get a lot of viewers and listeners who are so curious about this part of the process that they rarely.
I tested for Chuck, the show Chuck.
Yeah.
And seeing it now with Zach Levi, who's a friend, do it, I'm like, oh God, there's no way I could have ever done that anyway.
Well, it would have been wildly
It
different.
would have been totally different. He's just great. Is what I'm saying. Is he does such a great job with it that I don't think I could ever. That's obviously why he got the part. But that was one thing, and I remember when it was written, it was like the way it was written was played. It seemed to me my choice was like it was more nerdy than the way Zach plays it, And so I tried to pull off this nerd thing, which I can't really do. I couldn't really do at the time, and it didn't work. So that was one that I tested for.
No, I mean like those horrible moments.
Oh God, like like auditioning horror stories.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But if there's any in front of the network, that in particular, because that's you've made it to the final place. The testing means you've negotiated your deal. It's in your hand. You've signed a contract. There's one last step before the show, and the series potentially is yours. And every actor who's been there knows that it's the most fucking. You could make diamonds from the pressure that's in that room.
Yeah.
You're
signing a contract.
You've already negotiated it. They're so smart, of course, to negotiate you while you're insecure and not hired yet.
Yeah.
But when that happens, you're talking with your agent and you're actually negotiating and you're going through the process as if they're giving you the job at the end of this, right? No. You just have to go through this so that they can torture you more than you'll ever be tortured in life.
Yeah.
Understand, that's all this is.
Yeah. I did one with Jim Brooks. James L. Brooks. It wasn't for a TV show, but it was for a film he did recently. I can't remember the name of it.
How do you know?
How do you know?
Well, you mean like a test thing?
It was a test. It was a fucking shot on
Screen
film,
test.
screen test. Took a whole day.
Those are brutal.
With Reese Witherspoon. It's the two of us doing these scenes. Like, I was kind of certain that I wasn't going to get it halfway through the day. Remember there's a moment they were like, hey, Chris, will you take your shirt off in this one?
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I do it, and then we do one or two, and they're like, Chris, could you put it back on? Oh my God, I'd totally forgotten about that.
I'm so glad I could bring it up.
Thank you. He was a guy, yeah, but that whole process. But here's the thing. So here's the thing. You take that, and someone's like, oh God, how do you recover from that? It's like, no, you have to understand. Just the fact that I got to a screen test with Jim Brooks and Reese Witherspoon, my agents leverage it and can be like, hey, he just met, like, that's a huge deal for
It's
an
an
actor.
unbelievable accomplishment.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. And so
Just for a minute.
So I hope this doesn't come across as like I was like, oh, how could they? I mean, that actually probably helped me to get work that I've gotten since, you know what I mean? Because it's like
There's heat on him, the agent says. Listen, he's screen testing
he's
right
screen
now
tested for a
with,
thing, yeah.
with James L. with Reese Witherspoon, which is probably going to get, it's not going to be available for your things. Sorry? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good. That's good.
I can improvise.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, the horror stories are, they're only great because you're right. You made it to a point of ability that you were in a position where you were in the running for something. And that itself is an incredible accomplishment for a guy who is finding his way through all of this.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's just not going to work out for 19 different reasons.
Yep.
So to get there over and over again, I remember thinking when I first started auditioning, somebody say, "Have you gotten any jobs?" Like my friends back home, "Have you gotten any jobs? I mean, you know, you're auditioning a lot." "No, I haven't gotten anything." "Oh, yeah, that's too bad." But I got this callback. "Oh yeah, what is that?" And then I explained what the callback was, and I realized after a number of callbacks, there was a sense of you don't even get callbacks unless you know what the fuck you're doing and you have a certain level. It's like a graduation in itself,
Yes,
just
it
to
is.
get the callback.
Yeah.
Huge graduation.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the moment.
So
That's-
between that and the screen test, there's probably 7 different levels.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's a gigantic.
Oh, there are it's a huge staircase of baby steps the whole way.
Right.
And like from your first audition to, you know, and I'm probably even jumping steps here because to even get an audition, you have to, like, you know, the first few are hurdles that are nearly impossible. To get a SAG card and get representation are 2 incredibly tough things to do. You can't get a SAG card unless you do a project that's SAG. And you can't do a project that's SAG unless you have a SAG card. So
It's
it's a
the first-
total catch-22.
Yeah, the first one you'll experience.
And then you have to hurdle that one. It's the same thing with an agent. They're not going to sign. They're not going to look at you unless you have material. How are you going to get material if you don't have an agent to get you there? So, as long as someone kind of get the door cracked open somehow, then
And
you
for
can start.
you, it was
It was right on Chong, meeting her and her putting me in her movie.
right.
I got paid $700 and I got some footage, and I met a manager, who, you know, Bonnie was my first manager, and that's where it all started for me. And then it was just tiny steps. It was like my first audition. Oh, now it's my first film audition. Now it's my first callback. Yes, I got my first callback. Oh my God! After, you know, however long. But it all happened. It ended up happening pretty quickly for me.
Was Ray Dong the first person you read for, or she just hired you?
It's the first person
'cause
for
you were the
film or
writer?
television. I had auditioned for plays and gotten plays through auditions. As a kid growing up, I did plays in Washington State, but it was the first time I'd ever.
Yeah.
It was the first screenplay I'd ever read, and I remember I read it like 3 times. I had my lines. I knew exactly how I was going to say every line, which is not necessarily something you want to do in acting. You know, you want to listen and then respond appropriately rather than know exactly how you're going to say it. But nonetheless, I still, halfway through, I remember her saying, "You know, you're good. We're going to use you." And I was like, "Yes." And I said, "So where do we shoot? Is it shot here on the island, or you know, here in Maui or another island? And she said, no, it's going to be in L.A. And I just immediately was like, oh, fuck, I can't afford to go to L.A. I mean, I have $20 to my name maybe. And she's like,
You're a waiter, you're living off...
Sweetie, we'll fly you there. And I was like, oh, boing. And I just felt like...
And I'm Sweetie.
Yeah, and I'm Sweetie. No, I felt the plates shift, and like in that moment, it was the first time I ever, or the only time maybe I've ever had a moment where I understood the gravity of the moment in the moment.
Wow.
You know, you can look back on things
Sure.
and say, wow, that was a really special moment, but I didn't notice that. That one right there, I just thought,
Fireworks are going on.
my life just changed. My life just changed. I was right. It did. That changed fucking everything.
When you went out to LA to do that job,
Yeah.
did you just stay?
Yep.
That trip?
Yep. I got $700, shot for 10 days. And I hear that a lot. People are like, yeah, well, you know, someone just grabbed your hand and just brought you right in. I'm like, I got $700 and did 10 days of work.
And then got dropped off.
And then I got dropped off.
And said, find a place to stay and get a car.
Yeah, and I got a car for $700, and I started sleeping out by the pool of the script supervisor from the movie that we did. She and her husband or boyfriend at the time let me stay in their guest room, and then their brother came, so I ended up sleeping out on their lawn chairs. I was like a couch surfer. I was all about it. And then that was it. Just I got my manager who started getting me work, and then within I think maybe 8 months, I had done a TV movie, 2 commercials, got my SAG card, and was a series regular on a show that was going to network.
Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. I had something in my throat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Within 8 months?
Yeah, within 8 months.
That's absurd.
Insane. It happened so fast.
I probably auditioned for 3 or 4 years before I got anything.
Yeah,
8 months is remarkable.
Really fast, yeah, really fast.
Because you were ridiculously young,
to
like
series.
19 or 20 at the time?
I was maybe 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Wait, no, so maybe it was a little long. I was 20 when maybe it was actually 8 months before I stopped being a waiter.
Ah.
And then I think maybe a year after that is when this show went to series.
Right.
But I got like a TV movie that paid me a big amount. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then,
Fuck you, Denny's.
yeah. Out! Just kidding, I'll be back to eat sometimes.
Oh, man. That's pretty fucking great. My back teeth are floating. How are you doing?
Oh, does that, oh, the pee?
I have to pee, so.
It's nice watching the wheels turn on that.
Back teeth are floating.
Yeah, I don't have to, but go ahead, but you should.
You want to take a break? I'll take over.
Yeah. Would you mind, Sammy?
You know I'm up for it. I've got questions.
We're coming up on the 2-hour mark. I don't, know,
should we
how
just wrap
much,
it
I don't know how much longer I can keep him.
Oh, people will wonder where he is.
Yes. Here's a great tweet 5. Q. Keckner.
T5.
Work with this fucker if you get a chance. He's a lunatic and hilarious. Anchorman?
Yeah.
You saw him, Anchorman.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also from his days on The Office.
Oh, right, of course. Brian Cashin. Plaza or Polar?
Oh, that's not fair.
No, it's bullshit.
I can't answer that one.
Scary movie, House Bunny.
That is fair.
House Bunny.
Yeah, because it's her movie,
Yeah.
and she's amazing.
And I was married to her at the time.
Hello. So you were probably having sex with her?
No, she still won't give it up. It sucks.
Well, that's how she keeps you.
I know. One day.
Fat Jonah, skinny Jonah.
Ooh, healthy Jonah.
Healthy Jonah. Nicely answered. Kevin or Sam? What is it? The first time that's
Let him answer the question, Kevin.
I don't think you want to hear it. 130 episodes before somebody's asked that fucking question. That is hilarious. We won't force you.
Go ahead, answer.
Yeah, you got to say Sam at this point. Disney World, Disneyland.
Ooh, Disney World.
Yeah, that's a great answer, actually.
Why? No.
It's,
Why is that a great answer?
Because I think it's you would have to experience both a number of times to really be able to know that Disney World is like 5 Disneylands.
Yes, it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole world.
Yeah, because some people, you hear them. Excellent point. One's a land,
One's a land.
one's a globe.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I hadn't quite put it into those obvious terms, but it's painfully obvious.
Disney better.
But I talk to people sometimes and they go, it's too much of a pain in the ass. You got to go to Disney World for like 5 days to see everything and do everything. Disneyland, I can do it in an afternoon. I'm like, oh, so you want less fun? You're better with less fun? The idea of more fun seems painful.
Well, you know, some people have jobs. They can't get away from for a whole week.
Really?
Yeah.
No jobs have vacation time?
None that I know of.
Yeah.
Now that you've lived through all these years, though, you've got Disneyland down the road.
Yeah.
What's the, how often do you go?
I don't know. I mean, you know, it's funny. I don't do anything like Disneyland or Universal or any of these sort of things unless people come visit, and that's what they want to do, and then I go with them. So it's really nice to have people come visit because I find myself doing the things that a visitor does that I just don't do.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, I can always do that. I can do that next week.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you an expiration date as to when to get it done when you have people visit. So
Right.
yeah.
You and your wife got married in Bali?
Yeah.
You loser.
I know.
That's pretty sweet.
It was sweet. Yeah, it was really nice. It was.
Is that
we
so
eloped.
that you wouldn't have any of your friends there?
Well, I mean, it was.
You wanted to avoid.
Both of us have. Neither one of us are big planners, and nor can we be with our schedules with acting. You know, like you just.
Sure.
It's hard to. You can't just say, "Hey, listen, we're going to set this up for September 13th," and then.
And then Spielberg calls.
August comes around, and you know, the only way to, you know, they say that old adage, if you want work, book a vacation or something, right?
Yeah.
And so.
Nice to know that's still true. I heard that 28 years ago.
I'm trying it for like 4 years now. It's not working anymore.
I've spent $150,000 on vacations. I haven't had a single job to pay any of them down.
I'm way deep in debt from all that time in Hawaii.
You've got to stay away from Disney World.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got married. We got married in Bali. It was great. So we eloped. I mean, we have always been planning to. We just told our families, like, look, this is going to be something for. It was really selfish. It was a selfish move, but admittedly so. And I mean,
Well, you probably threw a party at some point, I imagine.
we haven't yet, but we're doing it.
Right.
We're doing it in about a month,
Nice.
which is going to be nice.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
I mean to hear about it.
Oh no, you're invited. The whole team's coming up.
It's all over.
5-year engagement. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you and your wife ever talk about Lover's Lane?
Oh my gosh.
See, I said I had questions for him.
Very nice. That
Oh.
was a movie that was her first movie.
Shot in?
Seattle.
There you go.
Shot in Seattle.
Bring it all
That's
around.
how she got her. That's like got her acting bug. She'd always been an actor. She was always an actor as a kid, growing up to theater in Seattle and stuff. And that was her first film, Lover's Lane. She plays a girl who gets hooked through the stomach, and then has a big orgasm death.
Oh, that Lover's
That
Yeah.
Lover's Lane. Yeah, you were thinking about the remake.
Lane. I was. All right. I was thinking about the one from the 30s.
Right.
So you had the Washington State thing in common.
Yeah. We grew up 20 minutes from each other.
That's ridiculous.
I played football in her high school field, and
As it were.
as a
Is that what the kids are calling it?
believe me, it's just like a high school field.
And just like a football.
And
Wait.
it's
Tell me about working with Jason Segel and Emily Blunt, those losers.
yeah. Oh man.
This sounds like a sweet gig.
Oh, it was great. It was really great. I love this job for the simple reason that you get to spend a few months with people that otherwise you would never meet
Or hang out with at such
hang out with in such tight, intimate quarters.
in such an amount of time, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like summer camp. It's like
Yeah.
sleepaway camp. It's like you make friends and you're like, I will never forget this summer. And that doing that movie is a summer I'll never forget. It was we had such a good time, and they're both so immensely talented.
Where'd you shoot?
Shot in Michigan,
Nice.
in Grand Rapids, and San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah,
The greatest city in the country.
I think you're
Well, if you're from there, that's what you say. Emily Blunt, oh my.
yeah. She's terrific.
Oh my.
She is.
It's
just
ridiculous. And Jason Segel I love to death, not just for his talent, but you talk about being proactive.
Terrific. Yeah.
I mean, here's a guy that's on a hit comedy on television and decides, no, I'm going to write movies and act and be the leads in films.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing television comedies that would like that to happen, and he made it happen by working his ass off.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah, and I think it was, you know, and I can't speak for him, but, you know, Freaks and Geeks days, starting his relationship with Judd Apatow, and I think that a lot of who ended up producing his movies that he did, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I think, and well, at least Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and also the 5-Year Engagement, which we did together. But that was, after having spent time with Judd, I walked away feeling like, okay, now it's time to go home and write. Do you know what I mean? Like he's got the ability to sort of
He inspires people to work their asses off.
Inspire people.
Make something happen for yourself.
Yeah, that's it. That's what he said. Judd said to me, you know, I was telling him how much I love Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was like, growing up to me, Jim Carrey was everything. I spent 2 solid years of my life doing Jim Carrey impressions. I was all about Jim Carrey in 96 to 99 or something like that. Just obsessed. And he told me, Judd said, that's really amazing, you know, but at some point you have to realize that you're his peer now. And you're not a fanboy, you're his peer. You're actually competing with him. You're competing with him, you're competing with Will Ferrell, you're competing with Jack Black, you're competing with these guys that you idolized your whole life. And now this is your chance to try to outwork them, you know? Like,
It's time to step up.
It's time to step up.
Without question. He's so right about that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool just to hear it. Because
You're in a pocket right now.
yeah, and just really any actor, like once you come down and you stake your claim down here and you find yourself doing this as a primary source of income and this is what you're doing, then you become peers with everybody, regardless of whether you've worked with them or not. And it's not like I'm saying that I'm at a certain level now to where I become a peer. It's like everybody down here, we're all in the same boat. It's just your turn to start fucking paddling, you know. And the faster you paddle, the further up the boat they'll move you, you know.
Right. To put it in nautical terms.
I'd put almost everything in nautical terms. Like grossly inaccurate nautical terms. I'm pretty sure paddling harder doesn't get you moved up in the front of the boat.
I was there with it.
I don't think that's
I was so there.
I don't think that really.
I was saying, Johnson, get up to the front. Yeah. I saw it.
Who's paddling the hardest? Oh, move him to the front. That will be a more efficient spot for
Paddle
him.
boy, get up front. Oh, man. When does the 10-year come out? Do we know?
It was at the Toronto Film Festival just recently, so I think they're working out distribution on that right now.
That's well, you talk about no money. The independent world, it's never been easier to get a film made and never been harder to get distribution. It's the motherfuck of all.
Yeah.
Is to try to get, because they all think they got to spend $30 million to market these things, and they're wrong. God damn it. I wish you great luck with 10-year and 5-year engagement. That's got to be a big studio thing.
Yeah, that'll be out, and I think in April.
April 2012.
April 2012.
Yep.
Well,
That's the
none
same.
of us are going to be here. Right?
That's the same thing as April.
It's April 2013. None of us will be here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so the movie's coming out.
I just like that you said April, and Sammy thought, let's go ahead and make it clear that it's
2012.
2012.
Because people are already planning, you know, year-end blowouts for December 2012 when it all ends.
According to
The Mayans.
Yeah. Who,
Wait.
by the way, are all gone?
Well,
Yeah. So how good are they?
they didn't want to hang around and see how it all ended.
Because there's a lot of other civilizations that lasted.
Sorry.
I think they're losers. They're weak,
Yeah.
and their shit is weak as well.
I agree, but I also think
Uh-oh.
they're right.
Because
No, I don't.
that was awesome. I was punked. My heart broke in a million pieces for you at that exact moment.
They're right, you guys.
Oh no.
Listen, okay?
Oh no.
Store water. I just want to know if there's anyone in a bunker from Y2K right
Well,
now. Just like still underground. No, it's not safe yet.
I'll tell you this. I was in Atlantic City this past year, the weekend of The Rapture. And I met not one but 2 people, and this was their attitude. The Rapture? Yeah, like that'll ever fucking happen. 2012 is where it's at.
Really?
Swear to God. They were convinced the world will end in 2012, but the Rapture is for suckers, man.
Wow, that is pretty spectacular.
Two!
Yeah.
And they didn't know each other.
And by the way, if you're going to be a civilization that dies away and goes extinct, definitely create a calendar that ends, because that's what scares people. Your calendar ends way fucking in the future where you couldn't possibly be around, so
answer
that
questions.
people will be talking about your worthless shit hundreds and hundreds of years later.
In essence, they did do that, and now we are way in the future, right?
Yes.
Like when did they go? I don't even know that they were extinct. I didn't. They're people. Where are they from?
Mayans,
Inca?
the Mayans, yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
the
in
Incas.
Mexico.
They're from Inca, right?
Southern America up through Mexico. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, well, there's
South
not,
America,
there's,
not
you know,
Southern
you'd have to really fucking care to study and know a goddamn thing about it,
Yeah.
I think.
Didn't they all vibrate and then disappear or something?
Yes.
That was it, right?
No idea.
Yeah, they did.
They vibrated and disappeared.
Yeah. On a higher level, on
Like
a higher
this?
plane.
And they went up.
Similar. Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
I don't read.
But that's nothing.
If there hasn't been a TV movie on Lifetime about it, I don't know shit about it.
You're like your pal, Offerman. You love the fishing and the hunting.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
That's not manly at all.
Oh.
I kind of thought it was.
I thought it was. No.
Where do you go for those activities these days?
Utah.
Uh-huh.
It's hunting season started yesterday in Utah. So
Are you going to get any kind of break from the show to go? No.
Duck season.
well, duck season starts in January.
Rabbit season. I'm sorry, I couldn't. help
Rabbit
myself.
is any month that doesn't end with R.
He is a hunter.
Yep.
That's
Dr.
what
Chen, you didn't know that.
Yeah, you can eat them any month that doesn't end with R, but you can shoot them year round. Depends, state by state. Utah's where I do most of my hunting, though. Yeah, and there's a really great hunt going on right now that I'm gonna unfortunately miss.
What are they hunting for?
Mormons. Sorry.
Souls. Hunting for souls in their own planet. No, they're hunting for elk and deer. In fact, my two hunting friends are a couple of stellar Mormon guys, great dudes. One was in the props department on Everwood, and Ian and his friend Mike.
Did they turn you on to this spot in Utah?
This particular spot we kind of discovered together. But they've certainly turned me on to some spots where there were animals. I mean, these guys are excellent hunters, really great hunters and good dudes.
If you had to narrow it down maybe to one emotion, what is it that happens for you? Like if you play competitive tennis as a hobby, you know, if you fly fish, it's a different sense. You're out on a lake and quiet and by yourself. And
Yeah,
becoming sort of one with your surroundings.
yeah.
What is the thing with hunting, you think, for you?
Bloodlust.
I didn't want to be obvious and suggest that's what the thing was. I'd rather you...
Yeah.
Shit just got real in
I
here.
think it's a combination of like, as a kid, walking around the woods with a BB gun, just wishing one day I could be and seeing a deer and being like, one day I'm gonna have a big gun and I'm gonna shoot that fucking deer, you know, and then
It's a good thing Robin's not here.
just dreaming about
Look at
it,
that
just dreaming about
fucking
it as a
deer.
kid, and being in the woods all the time in the outdoors, and you know, there's like I fished a lot as a kid with the bobber, and you get to the point. It's like there's this tipping point, and it's like 51% anticipation to 49% boredom. Mm-hmm. You know, most people are at about 90% boredom, 10% anticipation, so it's just not enough. And there comes a tipping point when your anticipation outweighs the monotony. And in that, there's a certain zen. Like you shed any stress of the real world, you know? You walk out in the woods and the sun hasn't come up yet, and you just sit in a spot, and your preparation has told you that this is the right spot, and the sun comes up, and you are in camouflage. Nothing knows you're there. Nothing can smell you. The wind's in your face. You're a voyeur to the world waking up and the wilderness waking up around you in a way that no one gets to see it when they drive their car down the road because they've disturbed it. You've snuck in, and you're just like opening up a window to what the, you know, if a tree fell in the woods and didn't make a sound, you'd be there to witness it, you know, because nobody's there. You're not even there. And then you know, the sun comes up, the last stars that in the sky go away, and the whole world comes alive. And most of the time, you don't get anything, and it's not about the kill. It's just about the journey of being there, and the work. You know.
I sensed that it was more than bloodlust. That's why I appreciate you sharing this much, because I've never heard it articulated like that, and that's pretty fucking spectacular, if not romantic, in terms of a singular mission and adventure.
Yeah, and then thanks. And then there's the inevitable remorse that you feel. I mean, I'm not cold-blooded. I don't just kill it and then just like not think about it. You know, like you go there and you see this animal, this creature that is 5 years old. For 5 years, it's been walking around these woods, and you never saw it until today, and then you decided to kill it. And so there's a remorse there. You know, you're like, oh my God, what have I done? And you feel that, but it's combined with all these other. You couldn't boil it down to one emotion. So there is that feeling of that, but then it's gives way almost immediately to just like this grace, this like thankfulness for it, you know. And then you go to work, and then that's when the work starts. You know, you got 600, 700 pounds of meat laying on the forest floor, and it needs to turn into little bags of meat in your freezer. And that's a lot of work there, you know. And then you just lose yourself in that work.
Right. Tremendous amount of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's great. Fishing has taken the place for conversation between all the men in my family. You know, taken the place of conversation. Mm-hmm. So, what's nice about fishing or hunting is you don't have to be talking and you're still doing something.
You're hanging out.
You know, you're both fishing. You can fish for 8 hours and not say shit to each other and have a great day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you might talk here and there, but you're not going to be like, so how you? It's like, what are you talking
It's
about?
the women in our lives who might ask, "What'd you guys talk about?" When you're in the boat with your brother, what'd you talk about?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Nothing.
We didn't.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love them. We had an amazing time.
Oh yeah.
Said
yeah.
3 words.
Yeah. It's such a Ron Swanson way to look at it, but it's the truth. It's so true.
I'd like you to start, in your mind at least, gearing up for the Larry King game.
Oh,
I'd like you to start
Yeah.
reformulizing. If you'd like, I'll go over the tasks. It's basically Larry with a little bumper moment where he shares something about himself that we just didn't want to know, and then he goes to the phone. That's really, when you're ready, that's your camera right there that you'll be staring down and offering it on up.
Okay.
You did make it to the 2 hour and 13-minute length, and we're extremely grateful for your time.
So I have to leave now?
No, but
I'm thinking 4 hours. Yeah, let's get this Larry King done. I think I have it. So I can say,
it's Larry reminiscing about anything, really. You can go back to prehistoric times. You can keep it in the present. You can talk about one of the 17 wives. It can go anywhere in Larry's world. But it's Larry sharing something that no one's ever, you know what I mean? It's like, why is he saying this?
yeah.
It's that. And then go to the phone.
I remember the first time after having my rib removed that I sucked my own dick. I threw my back out, hence the posture. Joe Ferraro from Enumclaw, Washington.
Yeah! That, my friends, is a grand slam.
That's your home run in the bottom of the ninth right there.
Nice. I got it.
You got it. You nailed it.
Thanks, Moneyball. That was fucking great. Thank you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Big fan, and thrilled to death you could make time for us. Honestly, truly.
And
now,
look forward to seeing Lost in Las Vegas.
will you?
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that? There you go.
Comes out next week. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind sitting there uncomfortably for the next 60 seconds while I wrap things up for the folks at home who are watching us live. For those of you around the world, thanks, and continue to let us know how you do KPCS. Write us to us at contact@kevinpollakschatcho.com. We missed Mike Rotman, our director, and Emily Goodwin, one of our producers, as well as Jamie Foxx, we mentioned earlier. But I want to thank Sam Levine, of course, and Dr. Chen. Josh Negrin, James Ewing. I always think Jimmy, but it's James Ewing.
Yeah.
And Jason McIntyre, of course, J-Mac out there getting things done, and Samantha Ward doing a fine job on the makeup, right? Painless, easy, wonderful.
She did it.
Next week, as we said, Megan Mullally,
Gonna be great.
and then Ivan Reitman.
Ooh.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We got some good shows coming up. November, Ed O'Neill, and some other good ones too. Check the schedule at kevinpollexchacho.com. Have yourselves a great week. And I think that's it. I know I wanted to say something about the passing of Steve Jobs, and then I decided not to, and yet I'm remembering it now. Everyone knows what he meant to them personally, and the idea of going off and doing a dissertation about what he meant to me seemed like, everyone who's doing that, it seems like you're making it about yourself.
Right.
Just say, he'll be missed.
Yeah, he will.
Let me
definitely
just say, holy fuck, will he be missed. And there you go. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.